Hello guys, so how it's going on? This is Pulkit from the Cleverfox Academy, and in today's video we are gonna be creating this Gmail clone, right? So first I'll show you in demo how does this works, and then we can get into building this. So this is the home page. So this is what home page looks like. So first I'll show you the sign-in page. So now if we click on this avatar, then we see this nice pop-up, and right. So if I click on sign out here, I'll get signed out. So I'll just refresh. Yeah. So here if I click on sign out, so here now if I click on create account, then it will wait for some time, and then you get this login in, and then you get this sign out create account screen. So now let's create an account with the name of Cleverfox, and we can say ACD here, and email we can say clever@gmail.com. I'll just say password of Pulkit so that I remember it. So Pulkit, and 1 second, I'll just show this. I'll just enable the show password, and then I'll just say Pulkit. So even if the passwords do not match, and if I click on create, as you can see, it gives an error that passwords do not match. Same with an email. If for example this email already exists, so if I click on create, and as you can see now I cannot create also if I have not typed any name or kind of a thing, right? So if I click on create now, so it will wait and it will say email already in use. So we'll just add clever@gmail.com, and let's now click on create. Okay, so it might be already in use. Then I'll just say clever123@gmail.com. Now let's click on create. It will load, and there you go. You see this nice Gmail login animation which you already did, and now this is the home page which you see when a new user signs in. So now let me open an Concatenation window here, and then let me just copy this link and go back. Okay, so I have a lot of Concatenations open. 1 second, this one, yeah. So here if I go back here inside of this, I was already signed in. Okay, so I was already signed in inside of Concatenation, no problem. So this is the account which I'm already, different account. As you can see, if I click here, it is pulkit123@gmail.com. so this is a different account. Here we see our mails and all of that stuff. So now I'll show you the good things. Now I'll show you the demo of this. So for example, just notice here, if let's copy this email, let's send an email to both of this. So if I just do here, and if I just click on compose, you see this message, and if I click on recipes and just say message from Concatenation, hello, and anything, let's just say anything, and then you get this the option of category of primary, social, updates and promotion. The reason I'm going to tell you soon why is that. So if I click on sending mail, you get this thing also there, and mail sent, and as soon as this mail sent, just notice you get this mail, and then you also get this primary of one new. Basically this is unread mail, and here also you get the same thing. So if I click and if I send another mail to clever123 and hello again, and then I just type anything, and if I send this into social, if I click on send, and then as you can see the mail is sent to social. There are total 2 unreads, 1 unread in primary and 1 unread in social. If I go on social, I see the different mail. Let's send another mail inside of social. Let's say send anything, just say send, and then the mail is sent here, right? So you can do the same thing with the promotions. Let me show you that too. So if I send other mail inside of our promotions, so let's send inside promotions, let's send a few more mails, anything, just send, and then let's send another mail inside of our 2 mails inside of updates. So let me do that, updates, sending mail send. As you can see, we get inside of important, we have 2 new mails. Like this is what we are going to be creating in this video. So, and you can also like switch between the selected one, and also you can see the sent mail which you have sent. For example, if we send a mail, as you can see, I'll just give an example in this. As you can see, we have these all sent mails. See, these are not total mails, these are sent mail. As you can see, the mails are only this much here, and here these are a lot of mails which you actually send those, right? So here if I just copy this mail and just send a mail to this email also from here, So if I click on compose recipient subject of help, just type anything. If I send the mail here, okay, notice guys, I'll just make this, I'll just put inside of my second, move this to inside of another monitor, and here if just notice whenever I click on send, and now when it says send, it will just automatically send there, right? So here the mail comes, and now if I go back, go here, and if I go to send, and as you can see the mails got added there. It was not earlier, but now it is there, right? So now you can also preview that mail. If I go to social, click on that, you get to see that mail, and the number of unreads reduced to 1. Same thing with promotions, number of unreads reduced and it has changed to 1, right? So for example, and now one more thing, for example, you must be thinking, but what if a user is not logged in with their account, and then if it, how can they then they can access with this link? Actually they cannot access any mail of, they cannot access any mail until they are logged in, and if they are logged in also, they can only access the mails which they have received, right, or the mails which are on the screen. So for example, if I come here and if I just copy this link, so I won't be able to see that, it will be just in blank screen, right? So you can access that mail. But instead, if I open this, if I click this link, open this link on my original window, I will be able to see that. Okay, so you still not able to see that, so the only way you can do is you can just directly redirect it, and there's no other way you can get directly redirected until you see those mail in your screen, and there's no way you cannot see until you're logged in, because that is the way the application is getting the data from our database, which we are going to be using Firebase here. So don't worry, there are no Redux used, nothing too complicated use here, and the code is as simple as it can be. Don't worry for that, no Redux, nothing too complicated. So if I even refresh, so if you refresh, you get to see the this animation, I cannot access login page there, and as you can see we get one new message, important, right? So if I click here, let's refresh again. So okay, sorry, yeah, so if you go back to the application, now we won't see any new messages, right? So as you can see, now this thing, we know pretty much this thing is working. Now this is what all the application is, and now let's get into building that, right? Also, one more thing before we get into building that, we have this nice drawer also, which gets shrinked, or you can expand that drawer. And then this thing I have already showed you, this nice email and this nice pop-up here. I have shown you compose also, categorize thing. Okay, everything I think I have displayed you, and now let's get into building that. So to start creating your application, all you need to do is open a VS Code folder or any kind of editor you want. In our case, we'll be using VS Code. So just open an empty folder and then just follow my steps. So I have opened an empty folder. So now what you need to do is press Ctrl J or Command J if you're on Mac. Then here you need to type is npx create react app /. So and hit enter. So what it will basically do is it will install the boilerplate code for you. So all you need to do is just start editing it. You don't need to install all those library or create the boilerplate code on your own. So this thing will do automatically for you. And now if it shows an error for you, like if it says ki npx is not a internal or external recognized command, so all you need to do is go to open up Google Chrome, to search for npm download or npm or node. Basically node we are going to download. So just install, basically if you're on Windows, install this version or just install this, and then when you install it, again run the command. If the error still persists, then just restart your laptop or PC, whatever you have, and then you must be good to go. And also if in my case I'll be using Yarn. So first of all you just install this Node.js, and then and just follow my steps. So we can close this, and so it has started. Okay, so it has. Okay, so if it says happy hacking and says cd into it says yarn start, or it might say npm start for you, so both are fine. So if it says that for you, then just type that command. So in my case I'll be doing yarn start. You can type npm start for you if you are using npm. So I have this thing won't come up for you just because I have already the original application is running on port 3000. So just don't worry, I'll click yes in my case, and it will open the local host and just like set up the application. So if you see this React logo spinning up, then it means you're good to go, and now we can continue further. So now what we need to do is, first of all, we will do some cleanup process. So the src folder which you see here is the place where you edit all of your files. Basically, like every code you wanna execute in a file, you just add it to src folder, not outside of it. So first of all, when you install the React, when you run this command, it gives some files. It automatically gives you some file which you don't need. So we'll delete all those unnecessary files. Those are basically, this process basically called cleanup process. So in our case, we don't need setup test.js, report web vital, logo.svg, app.test.js, app.css. We'll delete all these 3 files. And now then what we'll do is we'll go to index.js, we'll remove this line here, then report web vitals, and that's all for this file. And here we'll remove this all code, and instead of that we'll say h1 of hello, and then we'll remove this import also, and instead we'll import React from React. So just save that, and let's go back to our React application. Let's refresh. Okay, not this thing. Okay, so it says CSS loader. Okay, let me check. Okay, so we don't have app.css, so we have to remove that too. So we are importing app.css, which file does not exist. Just refresh, and as you can see, we see hello here. So that means it's working. So that means we have set up our application. Now the only thing we need to do is start working on a file. So first of all, what you can do is you can create this sign up page. I'll show you. You can create this thing here. Okay, so we'll start with, first of all, we'll start creating the layout for this, and then after that we'll move to functionality. So let's get started. So first of all, what I need to do is go back to your src. So inside of this VS Code, not src. So inside of src folder, create another folder, name it components, and inside of here create another folder, name it sign in, and just create an empty index.js file here. The reason I'll tell you soon, because if I tell you now, it won't make any sense, and you'll be like, everything's going up on my head if you're a beginner. And now after that, once you do that, create an index.js file, then create another file, name it signin.js. Then for every folder we're gonna have styles.css, and now I'll just set up boilerplate code for this. I'll explain what is this. So I'll explain in a sec. So if it doesn't work for you, then what you need to do is go to your extensions. And this doesn't use. Okay, so I cannot. Okay, so every time I do this, things comes up there. Yeah, now so just go here, just search for ES7 snippets and download this extension here, and then go back to sign-on.js. Once you do that, again just type RAFCE. This will create a functional component there. So it's basically, first of all, it imports React. So just to make sure that file knows that they have that, like, we are using React here. So we are basically telling our code that use React, like take the features of React. You just basically, it means like that. You can understand it that way. So then we create a function here which returns our HTML code, whatever HTML and JSX, whatever we write, it will return that thing here, and then here above the return, we will have our logic. For example, you wanna have any kind of a logic, like for example use dates, Okay, I won't make use case. I'll explain what are use cases later. So example, whatever the JS you want, it's gonna be up above the return. So in the return, you're just gonna have your HTML or JSX code. So for now, we'll just say sign in page just to make sure it works, and then we'll also import our style.css. So import .style.css. Save that. Also, you must be wondering, like, when I say that the text gets automatically formatted. So the reason behind this key, go back to the extension, search for prettier, and just download this extension. Right, just download this extension. Okay, so go back to signin.js. Now what we need to do is we wanna import this in app.js also. So instead of saying just hello, we are gonna say sign in. So, and once we see that, if we save that, it will throw up an error. So the reason behind the error is because like I'll just save that. I'll go back to my application. So it says sign in not defined. So we basically need to tell a file what is sign in. So basically we don't import a sign in. So what we'll say, import sign in from ./component/signin.signin.js, right? So basically file knows that you have to import sign in here. So this is basically how components work, right? So save that. Now you should see sign in page written there, right? So that's great. So for those who have worked a bit with React, so we will be using React router, not only in this case. I'll just show you. We won't be using React router to switch between sign in page and like login page. As you can see, the link doesn't change, so it's internal logic. So React router, we're gonna use it for showing up our mails. I could have used Redux for that, but I thought let's be simple, because when I say in the title that it's beginner friendly, then it has to be, right? So I won't be using Redux, and it would make a lot of it would make it a bit more complex. So if you want me to make like it make it more complex, increase the complexity in the code, let me know. I'll do that. I'll create another video for that. Don't worry. Beginner friendly, it will this content will be always beginner friendly. Don't worry for that. So let's get started with the sign in page. Basically this page here. We'll create this first, and then we'll work on the sign up. So before we start, what I want you to do is go to Google Chrome or any browser you are using. Just search materialui.com. Just go to materialui.com, and then inside it, go back to your VS Code, copy this thing here, and once you copy, go back to your terminal, open another terminal, and just type, just paste that command. So it basically, so I won't be using npm in my case. I'll be using yarn. So you have to do this, then yarn add @material UI core, and then a space. You have to follow the same thing, but instead of yarn add, just type npm install, and then after core, then @material UI /icons. So the reason we are installing Material UI core icons, the Material UI icons are self-explanatory. I don't think I have to explain you. It's because just to get those icons, some kind of icon which we'll be using, and the Material UI core is we are using for making our life easier. For example, you can see this input field. You just see it has an hover effect. Then as soon as you click, it goes up, right? This also goes up. Then you have this helper text kind of a thing. So there are two ways you can do it. Either create everything on your own, write all of the logic, or use an library, right? So in our case, we'll be using this library, so it will make our life easier. We don't have to write everything. So don't worry, we won't be using it a lot, because if sometimes it makes it makes things more confusing. So it will be not plain CSS. We'll be using plain CSS here, no JSX, no JS CSS, because I have noticed that it makes for beginners it's like a very boring, or they don't understand it, right? So don't worry, we won't be using that. Using plain CSS. So we'll start doing it. So for our div, first of all, we give this a class name of login, and then inside of this we'll create another div which will say login __ content. We'll create this. Then inside of here we'll have another div which will be login __ loading. This div is for the loading thing which you see there. I'll just show you. So if you go back to the application, just notice on this side, right, when I click on create account, you get this nice loading effect, right? So this is the reason why I'll be using that. So let's go back to our code. So here we'll have login __ loading, close the terminal. So and then inside of it will we have another div which will be login __ wrapper, and then inside of there we'll have an image. So now what I want to do is go to my GitHub repo and just take the so first, before you go to my GitHub repo, the reason I'm asking is for GitHub repo is just you have to go to public folder. Inside of public folder you'll find another folder, its name will be assets, and just get that folder and paste it inside of this public. So I'll just do that. So I got my folder here. So this has the Google SVG image. So just take that and take that from a GitHub repo, or you can use just you can use your own image also, that's not an issue. So image, and then class name of login __ logo, src to be / public / assets / svg / okay, what was the file name? Let me check. We don't have to write public, I think, there. Let me check. Okay, yeah, we don't have to write public there. So it automatically understands that it's public folder. And then here we will write google.svg and alternative of Google. Just save that, and if you go back you should see a big sign Google logo. As you can see, we get there. So we'll style this later. First let's write some HTML code. So now here we're gonna have an h1 tag which is gonna say sign in. Then we are gonna have, or we can change this to p, yeah. And then here we are gonna have another tag, p tag, which is gonna be continue to Gmail, and to both we have to give an class name of login __ we can give this title, and to the another one we can give this class name of login __ subtitle, right? So now here then okay, we can start styling, we can start giving it a bit of style. So go back to style.css. So first of all, to our login we are gonna give a display of flex. So or let's do one thing. First of all, I'll write all of the HTML code and then I'll style it, because when I do that, the styles will make more sense. If I do at the start, you might not able to understand most of the styles, right? So when I'll do it side by side, so you can understand what each styles makes a difference, right? So we'll do this later. First we'll set up all of our HTML code, because HTML isn't that I don't find that beginners, because the people who are starting, they don't find HTML to be hard, but some of them find CSS to be hard, right? So I'll explain you that, don't worry. So here we'll create another form. We'll create a form and this class name of login __ form. And for beginners, all of you, I have a tip. When you watch, just if you don't get anything from a tutorial, like for example I explaining something, you don't get it, so don't worry for that. If I am not able to explain that, is fine, just Google for it. Everything you can get it on Google. Just Google it, and at the point just you make that thing like you just understand that thing, and then it's like it's the best tip which I can give you if you're a beginner to learn more quickly. Just don't feel that you cannot understand anything or the React is not for you, because once I was also beginner. So these are the tips which I personally feel, right? So these are not like kind of pro tips, these are the basic tips which I feel, right? So we can continue styling this. So here we are gonna use a material UI component. So let's show you. So here is just gonna text field, and then first of all again we have to import that. So in my case I won't be importing every single statement. I'll just use the I'll just auto import that which VS Codes provide. So if I click on control space, then the first thing, just click on enter there, and it will automatically import it there. So if now save this, just notice. Okay, let's see, style this image first. To our image, login underscore logo. To our image, we are gonna give a dot login underscore, we are gonna give a width of 100 pixels. So now, yeah, so now just notice here we got this kind of an input where we can write this. So this is what material works. So it automatically, so when you import that, it automatically runs that every command for us. So now here to get this kind of a look, once again, so this kind of a look, we'll give some properties to it. So let's do that. So here we'll go inside of signin.login.js. So first of all, you're gonna give an id is equals to outline of basic, and then an label of email, variant of I think it will be outlined, and just save that. And as you can see, you get this kind of a look. So label basically tells us that it's kind of a label. So label is basically this text which you can see, right? So if you change this, it will change according to that. So if I'll just make this capital, and variant of outline, I think if we remove that, then that should also work, because by default material. Okay, so outline doesn't work. Outline will give this kind of a outlining text. Outlined, it will give kind of a border. Variant is equals to outline. So this has got a type of email, and this has to be self-closing tag. Save that, refresh, and yeah, that works. So another thing, I will just do it, copy it one or twice more. Okay, we need it just only twice. So here, instead of being type of email, we are gonna give a type of password. Save that. So as you can see, so the reason where I gave here email and a type, because as you can see, my Chrome automatically fills my email and password, which it was not earlier doing, because it didn't knew that it has to fill an email and password. So type basically tells it that this is an email and this is a password, so it will automatically fill that for you. And whenever you create an input or like when you create a component with an inputs and a button, always make sure that's inside a form, because that's more easier for browser to understand. Like to make your file, like there's some kind of pre-default, you can say, browser knows what to do with, then like it automatically knows key it has to fill a password and that thing, password and email, right? So here, instead of label, we can have we'll have password here. Okay, so we'll save that, and then we'll create an info text here. Info text is basically this thing, right? So we'll create this here. So here we'll have an div of login underscore info text, and which says not your computer, use guest mode to sign in privately. Do you say privately or privately? And then here we're gonna have an href okay, not. And then we are going to have an href tag, anchor tag, anchor, which is going to redirect to learn more. We won't be creating this kind of a component. You can create on your own if you want. So learn more. So now if you go back to our application, as you can see, it's look like this. So yeah, so here now we'll have some buttons. For buttons also we are going to use Material UI to give nice effects. So if you create a normal button, I'll show you. Okay, so I can explain you why we are using Material UI buttons. So I'll explain you with the an example of taking a button. Why are we using why we're using Material UI instead of this, instead of using plain HTML. You can consider it like that. So here first we'll create a div. We'll create a div of login __ buttons, and inside of here we'll first of all, okay, I'll explain you with a button. So now here if I say button and sign in, and then I'll create another button, but that will be of a Material UI. Make sure you import that. I'll do it automatically. That did it automatically for me. So just save that. If you go back, just refresh. Okay, I'll give it a margin of, because this thing doesn't let me see that. I'll go back here. So here login __ buttons, I'll give, let's give some margin to our login. Dot login margin left of 50 pixels. Yeah, so here as you can see the different which looks like. So to remove this, first of all you have to write outline of 0, like you have to write multiple styles, but with using Material UI you don't have to write most of the styles, right? So here if I want to give this a color of blue, then that's just a 1-line code, and if you want to give background, that's also just not even 1 line, that's just 2 or 3 words. So to this you have to write whole, like you have to write much CSS, so a lot of CSS. So that's why we are using Material UI. So let's go back. We can keep this for now, and inside of here we'll remove my HTML button, and then here we are gonna have an class name of login __ button, and then we are gonna have a sign in here, and then we are gonna have another button. Okay, so this, okay, let's give this a create account. This is gonna be create account. So to this we are gonna give a color of primary, so it will give a blue color. So and to another one we wanna have a color of primary, this is the blue color again, and then here we are gonna have a variant equals to content. So it will basically give an it will give basically an blue color background. So if I save this, go back to my application, so as you can see it has got a background color. So instead of this is to be signed, I'm gonna say create account there. I'll go back and I'll say just here create account. So account. So I think we are done with writing our HTML code. So now I think we can start with writing our plain I think we can start with writing the CSS there, right? So let's start with it. So I'll make this side by side to have a good visual look. So I'll do this way and I'll just make it this, right? So it's better to be this way, and this is good. So let's go to our style.css. So okay, let me make this a bit better. Yeah, this is fine here, and let me do it this. Yeah, we only need this much space. Okay, that's fine. Yeah, so here we'll start styling. You can remove all of this. So first of all, to our login we are gonna give a display of flex, and then flex direction of column. Then I'll explain what is this. Then minimum height is basically like it will always have a minimum height of 100 view height. So it cannot, the login component, login div won't have an height less than 100 view height. 100 view height is basically the 100% of the current visible height to the user, right? So here, and we are going to give a justify content of center. I'll explain this, what is this, and then align items of center. This is kind of a self-explanatory. So if I save this, okay, our login underscore logo, to this we'll give a width of 100 pixels, which we gave it earlier. Save that. As you can see, everything's come at the center. So what this basically means is, so if you go back to our signin.js, so everything which is its child, so what are its child? Login component. So to this login underscore content, to all of this content, basically this thing, to all of the to basically this thing, like this div, it will align it to, it will give a display of flex. So basically if we add in another thing here, for example I say h1 of hello, so it will like basically create it at the right side of it. Okay, so yeah, it's because, yeah, so it will basically align it at the center, because, and if I, so the reason it's not at the right side, because I gave this, okay, I'll remove this. So what display flexes does is, display flex basically aligns everything like side by side, for example. And if you don't have display flex, it will come at the, so it will so these things won't make any sense, right? So it basically likes create, and it's basically like aligning everything side by side. So what if you want to have a display of flex, because you need display of flex for these two things, but you want it to be of flex direction of like it should not be side by side, it should be vertically, it should be horizontally vertically aligned. So for that, what we say is flex direction of column. So it will basically align everything column wise, basically vertically, right? If we save that, as you can see, it came to center, right? And sometimes, and if I give this of, if I remove this minimum height of 100 view height, as you can see, they are not centrally aligned. The reason behind that is, I'll show you. If I open up inspector, and if I like, one second, okay, I'll do this way. So if I go to my inside, it's inside of body, okay, one second, yeah, inside of body, where's my id root app? So here, as you can see, so the login has the maximum, has the height of as the height of the amount of total space that a their child component need. So in order to make them centrally aligned, it have to have more height than maximum space they are taking, right? But basically what I mean, if they has to be centrally aligned, it has to be centrally aligned according to page. So by now this thing our application doesn't understand. For is by saying align item center, it basically means the maximum height that your div container is taking, just align everything to its center. So obviously you need an height of more than its the maximum it's taking. So if I say 100 view height, it will align everything to the center. If I say it 80, so it will be a bit of top, right? So in our case, we will have 100 only, right? So this is all the style that you need. I hope I explained it well. And justify content center means that it will align everything centrally, but this will align everything centrally according like it will align everything center in the horizontal direction. If I remove this, these all will shift to left, this all will shift to top corner. So it aligns everything vertically. Sorry, I said horizontally. It aligns everything vertically. And if I remove this flex direction of column, so it does this way, right? So I hope you get that. So and aligns item center, it will align to center according to the flex direction you are giving, right? Hope that makes sense. And then we are gonna target all of these things which we are having, login underscore content. So let's do that. So dot login underscore content to this, we are again gonna give a display of flex direction of column, and then align items of center, and then a border of 1 pixel solid, hashtag DADCEO, and then a border radius of 7 pixels, padding of 30 pixels, and then a height of 520 pixel, and width of 440 pixels, and then a position of absolute. So I explain you what is this. So display flex direction column already explained, align center of explained. So border 1 pixel is borders, like it will give a border of thickness of 1 pixel, and this will be in solid, and here this is the color which you want. If I want it to be red, it will change it to red. So as you can see, the color changed. So if you want it to be dashed, so it will give you dashed kind of a border. So in our case, it will be solid. So these are the properties. Border radius is basically this kind of a radius. Okay, here as you can see, it has got this kind of a look, right? Okay, instead of this having minimum, change it to maximum height, and we'll also give it a maximum height. So it's height, let's give it a height of 100 view, that's fine. So it's to make it responsive, right? So if I go at the top, why can't I scroll? Okay, I think browser issue. Anyways, so here as you can see, it has got this kind of a border radius, right? So we want, so like if I remove this, so it will be just a square. As you can see, it's square now. Just notice here, and if I do that again, it got in radius. So padding is basically the inner space. By saying inner space, what I mean is, I'll go open again my inspector. So inside of an inspect, the green line which you can see is basically the padding. So it will shift all of the content inside of its 30 pixel inside of their parent component. So for example, it's basic login content. So whatever the child are, it will shift by 30 pixels from their parent component, wherever the parent component is there, right? Hope you get that. So we can go that, and also we can remove this hello here. So where's our hello? Here we can remove this hello. So let's go back to style.css. Here it how it looks like. Then we'll style our, I think we can style a wrapper. So we have got wrapper, right? After this thing, yeah, we have this wrapper. So now in order to style all of these components, so we have to obviously style wrapper, because these styles does not apply to its child. It will only apply to its child, not its grandchild. I think you get that, what I mean by child and grandchild, right? So child is basically the component which it includes. Grandchild is basically the component which the child components of their child. I hope you get that. And then inside of a login, then here we are gonna have dot login __ wrapper, and then here we are gonna have a display of flex direction column, and then an align items to center. So everything will be centrally aligned now. As you can see, centrally aligned. We will obviously add some of these styles to make these also kind of centrally aligned. So to our login __ title, we are gonna give a font, not font. Okay, we don't font. Let's do font family later. So we'll give a font size of 24 pixel and font weight of 400. Save that. Yeah. And then to our login __ I'll move this camera here. Yeah. So to our login __ subtitle, what I gave the name there. Okay, it's small t subtitle. I'm gonna give a font size of 16 pixels and a font weight of 400. Oh, okay, sorry, yeah, font weight of 400, and yeah, and then here I'm gonna give a margin top of -5 pixels. So it will shift it to kind of a top side, right? So Now okay, so it looks fine. So I think we are missing out something. Okay, so what we can do is, okay, so this is the I think these are the font family. I have to find out the font family which I'm using. I'll add the font family soon. Okay, let's add the font family now. I'll check what font family I'm using. Give me a second. So okay, I don't find it here. Index.css. Okay, so I'll let you know. I don't find any font family that I'm using. We'll change the font family later. Also, you can change it to according to your need. Also, there's no issues with that. So here to will continue styling this. So now to our dot login underscore. Okay, we gave this. Now we have to style our form. So to our login underscore form, we have to give a width of 100%. It will basically occupy the 100% all the space that is available for it. Display of flex and a flex direction of column, right? And as you can see, it expanded to 100%, right? So now to our login underscore input, we have to give a margin top of 20 pixels. So as you can see, that does not make any difference because there are already some styles given by Material UI. So basically we have to overwrite it. So to overwrite it, I'll just say I important. Okay, so still we don't have it. I think I didn't give a class name then. So I'll go to silent.js. I'll just give it a class name there. So class name is equals to and the same class name for our another input. So as you can see, they'll shift. Okay, yeah, as you can see, they shifted, right? So this is basically what we need. And let's start our style our info text here. So I'll say login underscore info text, and to this you're gonna give a display of flex because it has an href tag, flex direction of column, and then we're gonna give a margin top of 50 pixels, and then a color of hashtag F56368. Also guys, if you find if any one of you knows the this font family that Google uses, then let me know. I searched the whole internet and I could not find the font family that Google is using. So I'm gonna give a here font size of 14 pixels. Save that. As you can see, it got bit shifted there. So margin top 15 pixels. Okay, so it's fine there. So now we have to style this href tag. So it will say dot login underscore info text. Inside A, you are gonna give a color of hashtag 1A73E8, and then here we are gonna have a font weight of 500, and then a text decoration of none. So basically this will remove this the underline kind of a look which it had, right? So now let's style the last thing here, not the last but the buttons. Let's style the buttons here. So here first of all, grab our login underscore buttons, style.css here. So here to our buttons, not login. So first of all, we're gonna give a display of flex and justify content of space between, and a margin of 40 pixel, 0 and 0. So you must be wondering, okay, I'll shift this there. Yeah, so we must be wondering what the space between does. So space between is basically like it will shift the content to the extreme right and left side. So to the so if for example, I'll give them a background color of red. So this thing, so it will basically shift their child components to only the child, not the grandchilds. So it will shift the child component to the extreme right and left side, right? So yeah, so it shift them to the extreme right and left side. So this is what space between does. And then we can style our button. So first of all, to our login underscore button, we are gonna give a font weight of 500. We'll give an I important to override the material UI styles, and transform. It was text transform, sorry, and text transform to capitalize. Capitalize basically means the first letter of every word should be capital. Here also I important. Save that. As you can see, this is the way it looks now. So I think we are done with styling this this thing. It's had a few responsive styles there too. So here, okay, everything is fine. Okay, let me just check. Okay, everything's fine, right? Yeah. So I hope I'm not missing out something. I explained everything, right? Let me go through it. Okay, so now we can have some responsive styles there. So let me reduce this. So as you can see, it's not kind of a responsive here. So okay, yeah, the thing I was missing, I got the thing which I was missing. So here, as you can see, these are not kind of like centrally aligned, right? Like these are not at the same line. So to do that, what I'm gonna do is it's not kind of a visible, but I want to tell you something. So for example, I have two buttons with the same class name, right? So I'm gonna grab only one, the first, which this type, only this kind of this type. So what I mean is there are two class name, two buttons have same class name. So and I want the first type, like it's the first type, right? So what I'm gonna do is I'll say dot login underscore button first of type. To this I'm gonna give a padding left of 0. Save that. We'll shift to left. So this is what I basically meant there, right? So I hope you got that. So now we can add some responsive style. So to add the responsive style, so what we say is @media screen. Okay, we don't use screen here. So max width, you can use screen, does not matter. So max width of max width of 600 pixels. So whenever the width of the screen is 600 pixels, so this is all the now you write all the styles which you want to application have when the max width is 600 pixels. So here we're gonna give to our login content, login underscore content. To this we'll give a border of none, and then a width of 85% of view width, and then a position of absolute, then a top of 0. I'll explain what absolute is. Top of 0, and then a margin also of 0. Save that. Okay, cancel. Okay, the max width is not 600 pixel. That is the reason style does not work. If as you can see now, the border is gone. If I do this, it is still there. After this, the style is vanishes, right? So what exactly position absolute means? So position absolute takes that component out of the flow of the div, basically out of the flow of our HTML. It like takes out of its flow, and now you can position it anywhere. So it will take the out of its flow, and then you can say top of 0. Top of 0 means align it at the top. If I say it to be 10%, it will come a bit of down. It does not matter what is there any child component or it is striking to anything. So it will take take that div out of the flow of the application, and now you can style anything you want, right? So I think this works. So the next thing we are gonna work upon is I think we can start searching between sign in page and create account page. So let's do that now. Let's switch between sign in and create account page. So to do that, what we are gonna do is first I'll create I'll just make this full screen for now, because now we don't need any browsers now we don't need to be visual. So here now we are gonna use some JS here first of all. So here first of all we're gonna say components, new folder. We'll do the same drill. So sign up, we'll create another folder. Inside here we are gonna have a file name signup.js. Inside of here we are gonna have a file name styles.css, and then here I'll have an RAFCE. This is gonna say h1 of sign up page, save that, size.css. okay, we'll import this later. So go back to signin.js, and then inside a login signin.js, we after here let's import this thing. Okay, let's do one thing. Yeah, let's have it over here, sign up. Make sure you auto import it. So save that. Let's go back to our application, open it full screen. We cannot see sign up. Why don't we see anything? Let me check. Okay, so sign up, it must be some issue with the styles, because let me remove all of this and then let's have an sign up. I'll bring up my application. Okay, I was seeing it on my original application. Okay, sorry, I was on the original application, so I got a bit of confused. Okay, so here we have the sign up page. So basically now what we want is, we want to like switch between to the signing to sign up, right? So how can we achieve that? First of all, let's go back to our sign up. Inside of a sign in, here let's have it again, everything back, refresh. Yeah, here we have everything back again. So here first of all we are gonna have some sign up, save that. Okay, we don't see anything. Let me refresh. So it might be an issue with the styles. No worry, we know that it works. So what we basically want is, so if our basically what we want is ki, if this thing now it depends on a condition, right? So we will create a condition, like basically a variable. You can think as a variable or as a value which knows what it's have to do. So like basically now it whenever you click on create account, we want to tell our application to switch to our sign up page. We want basically that. So how can we achieve that? So we'll use some we'll use a power feature of React called useState, hook, basically you can say as a hook. So const here, so this is a syntax of writing it, explain you what it is. So here first of all you say const, then inside of const you name anything. So we'll just say show sign up, set show sign up equals to use state. Make sure you import it from there, save that. So basically what the way use state works is key, yeah, so basically the way use state works is usage you can consider it as a variable. What does a variable, how does a variable work? You say var a equals to abc, abc, right? And now if you want to change the value, just say a equals to abc 2, right? So this is the same way it works. It's kind of a same thing. You can consider it as a same thing. It's nothing much like it has got more features, like it provides you more features, more reliability, and it's more scalable. But you can, in our case we'll be using it only for like updating our state, or like basically updating our variables. You can consider it of that way. So here, and inside of this bracket you have an initial value. When the application loads, it's not gonna have any value. So like you need to have some initial thing. If you keep it empty, it's gonna give a null value, or now it will have an empty string always, right? So now what we want is key, like whenever a user click on this state on this create account button, so then what should happen is key, whenever he clicks, the state should change to true, and whenever the state is true, then we are gonna render our sign up page, and if the state is false, then we are gonna render our this login page, right? So how does that work? So so first of all I will find out a way how we can update it. So in our case our initial value is gonna be false. So whenever the user logs in, so he will every time sees the sign in page if he's not logged in. If he's logged in, he will get redirected to home page, which we'll do it later. So now what we want is we'll set up we'll change our value. So first of all, we'll create an arrow function. So const then we'll say toggle sign up equals to arrow bracket and then this. So this is basically arrow basically a function. So now okay, so am I forgetting? Okay, so we can do this way also. Okay, let's do it this way. So now whenever the user clicks on this, we are gonna set the show sign up to true, and if it is okay, yeah, so and if it isn't, and yeah, so now whenever the user clicks on this, now we'll set the sign up to true. And now when we want, so now we'll have that an on click here. So inside of this create account, we'll create an on click event listener is equals to toggle sign up. So basically whenever the user clicks on this, it will get this thing. So if we save this, go back to our application, let's refresh. If you click on create account, obviously nothing happens, right? It would so to actually make that happen, now we need to add this thing also, that now our application should check what is the current state, is it true or false. According to the state, we're going to render a sign up or a login page. So let's do that. So now first of all, let's do here we'll have an event.prevent. He will have an, it will accept a parameter of e, yeah, and then we are gonna say event.prevent default, which is gonna prevent the page from refreshing, which is the default behavior of an application, and we don't want that, because if we refresh, it's automatically gonna change the state to false, and then we won't be able to see anything, right? So we don't want that. So okay, so this thing is working here. So okay, so here now let's render according to the state. So first of all, we are gonna check show here. So how would you do in an if else condition? So you would do this way: if show sign up is equal to true, then you're gonna render our login page, or else we are gonna render our sign up page, right? We're gonna do this way. Another way we can do this is a ternary operators. You might know this or you might not, but I'll explain. So how the way it works is, so it just simplifies, it just reduces the amount of words you write. So we say so sign up page, then it's in question mark. It will check what it will like check. So if it is, then it will then it will ask you. Then if it is true, now after the question mark, you write the thing which you want after if the value becomes true. So if the value is true, we'll render our sign up page, or in case it isn't, then we'll render our login page, right? So this is the way it happens. So now we want the same thing to be done in this HTML code, right? So the way it happens is to write JS inside of inside HTML, we use curly braces. This is also known as JSX. So now let's do this thing. Show sign up. If it is true, then we are gonna put all of this this file, this code inside of this bracket, and then we're gonna have an we're gonna call us, then we're gonna say a sign up page. So now if we one second, so now if we save that, now we should be able to see sign up page. I click on create account. Okay, so nothing happens. Let's check. Okay, so it's okay, one second. Okay, so we are doing something wrong. Let me check what we are doing wrong, what we are saying. Okay, so sign up. So if it is true, it on click it sets the value to be true. Okay, that's fine. Am I seeing on click here? Okay, create account. Okay, so here we are checking a show sign up. Let us find here event.prevent default set show sign up false if okay. So okay, if it is true, so if it is true it will show this. In case it isn't true it will show sign up page. So I don't understand still the error. Okay, I'll just, if I change this to true, and now I think I should be able to see our login page, right? Okay, now I see a login page. So the reason it's happening, what I think is, so toggle sign up. So if show sign up is true, it says this. If it is true, then you have to render me this, or else render me sign up page. Okay, yeah, that's what. So you have to true. Okay, so let's change this to, okay, the reason for the error is happening is because we say if sign up page is true, then we have to render our sign up page, right? But we are rendering, what are we rendering is our login page. So we have to change, we have to cut all of this, put it inside of this. We have to take our sign up from here and put it over here. Save that. Now that should work, and let's set this to false, and now let's check that. Let's refresh, create account. Okay, we see this, great. So now let's start styling a sign up page. So and then once we style that, then we have this then we'll add a login animation, which will be, I have already created on video, so we'll be just taking the code from that and we'll be adding it there, because we need it for, we'll using that code for this this loading thing, for we'll using for that, right? So now let's work on this, and yeah, so we can start working on, let's first style this, create this, then let's add some then let's work on some JS. So we'll be using also context too. Yeah, we'll be using context here also soon. So now here we are gonna have another class name of sign up underscore container. Also one more thing, guys, if you would be wondering why this is centrally aligned, the reason it is centrally aligned because remember it's inside of us sign in component. As you can see, we are rendering it inside of our login component, right? So this is the reason why the login styles are still being applied. So that is why it's rendering it in center. So let's work on sign up page. So here we are gonna say sign up underscore container. So inside of a sign up, we are gonna have again a loading div class name. The loading CSS will gonna be the same as we used in sign in. So I think we can just name it to be login underscore loading, but we do need to change it with and some other stuff. So we are gonna also give an other class name of sign up underscore loading, right? So save that. Yeah, so sign up underscore container. Then we have then before this we are gonna have a class name of sign up. I know the names are a bit weird, you can change the names according to your wish. So this is what I just used when I was creating, so this is what I felt, okay, so I just use this. You can obviously change the names according to your wish, names are totally not an issue. So save that, sign up. Then inside of a sign up we are gonna have sign up underscore again and container here after this. Yeah, here we are gonna have same thing, dot tab sign up underscore container. Then we are gonna have sign up underscore left. Then inside of it, I know that's too much div, so here this is gonna wrap, this is the parent div. Then okay, this one has to be, this login one has to be out of this, sorry, 1 second, this is sign up, then yeah, it has to be here only, v, and then sign up container, sign up underscore left, and then this. Okay, so now we are gonna have an image. This is gonna be the same as we used earlier. So image and class name also of login underscore logo. Guys, still I'm telling, I know that names are very weird. You can change that according to your wish. I'm not like, I just don't like, I'm not too good at, like, I don't want to, like, I don't mostly create, like, I don't create, I don't know, more focus on names much. That's why you can do it. If you care about names a lot, you can do that. asset/svg/google.svg, and then an alternative of Google, just save that, yeah. And then we are gonna have another h1 of class name of sign up underscore heading. It's gonna say create your Google account, and then we're gonna have an p tag which says class name of sign up underscore subheading. 1 second, yeah. Then in here we're gonna say continue to Gmail, right? Then outside of p tag, let's have another class name of sign up underscore inputs, and then let's have another class name of sign up. This is to wrap those basically. So you're gonna say name inputs. Then here we are gonna have okay, we can just copy this input from there. It's basically the for the name, we'll having a name for a first name and then last name, right? So that's why I named it name input. So it's gonna have a first name, then a class name of class name of sign up underscore name input, and then a type of name. Okay, we can remove the type here. Okay, this is fine. Variant is equals to outline. We'll have another same kind of input which has got a label of last name. Yeah, last name, and then let's see that how does that looks. Okay, that looks fine. You can go back, and then we are gonna give an outside of this div, we are gonna create another text field. Okay, we can just copy it. So text field label is gonna be email, and then we want to occupy the max width. We're gonna make it occupy max width. So instead of the class name, we are gonna have okay, we don't need a class name here. Yeah, we don't need a class name. You can remove this class name. Outline variant label is equals to, we are gonna have a label of email, variant is outline, and then we are gonna have an helper text. I'll just show you what helper text is. You can use letters, numbers, and periods, right? Save that, and let's see how does that look. Okay, this is the helper text which I meant this because it's so as you can see, like, it gives a nice text with the input, right? So this is what I meant by saying that. Now we are gonna have another class name of password, div class name underscore password, what was sign up underscore password inputs. Then we are gonna have a dot sign up underscore password wrapper. Then we are gonna have a text field. Okay, copy this. one second. Yeah, copy this, paste it up there, and then we are gonna have an label class name of sign. So where's the class? Okay, yeah, we're gonna give a class name of sign up. Sign up underscore what was the last name that I gave there? So it is underscore password input, and then we are gonna have a helper text of nothing. We don't need a helper text here. Save that, and label is gonna be password. Label is password, and then we are gonna have an type is equals to password. Let's have a type of email there. Type is equals to email, and let's create another class name of confirm. Label of type of not label of confirm password. Confirm password. Let's see how does that looks. Okay, so we have a password, confirm password. Okay, that says just password there. Email, use it. Okay, we'll add this here. We need to add this checkbox too to show this password. We'll add the logic later on. Okay, that looks fine. We'll remove this confirm it. Okay, we'll add this helper text too. So this helper text we're going to use of Material UI, because Material UI will not, as you can see, like I'll show you. As you can see, it occupies the whole space, right? So Material UI does not offers that, or if it provides also, I don't know about how to do it. So we'll just add in custom one. Then here we are gonna say p of class name of sign underscore helper text. Sorry, that's gonna be sign in, sign underscore helper text, and then inside of it, it's okay, one second. Yeah, the inside of it we are gonna have use 8 or more characters with a mix of letters, numbers, symbols, and you can add an and there. Okay, that's fine. You can, yeah, numbers and symbols here, and let's add here and symbols. So let's check how does that looks. Okay, we'll style this later, don't worry for that, it's fine. Then here we are gonna have outside of these two password divs, we are gonna have an div for a button. So we are gonna have dot sign in. I'm doing it sign in, sign in. I'm doing sign up, right? Okay, but we can have it similar to sign in. So I'll just say sign in underscore buttons. It's almost similar to that. So inside of here we're gonna have a Material UI button, so which is gonna say class name of sign in underscore button. Also guys, sometimes what would happen is because when I'm like writing it, I might forget to explain you something which might be new. So if I do that, just if you do have any doubt, just let me know in the comment section. I'll surely help you with those anything you ask me. Then we are gonna have a variant of outline and color of primary, yeah, and variant of content. Variant is gonna be, okay, it's outline, and then it's gonna say sign in instead. Right now we are gonna have another button. You can just copy this thing, and okay, let's copy paste that. Then this is gonna say sign up. It's gonna say create, and then it's gonna color of primary, variant of contain. Save that, go back to your application. It should look somewhat good, better than that. Okay, what we are missing is now show password. Okay, now we need to add this this checkbox also here, over here, and then we'll add this image there too. After this, that's the reason why we created those two divs. So let's go back to our application. Now here we're gonna use material UI thing, and here we're gonna say form controlled label. Yeah, exactly. And then we're gonna have an control. This is the way material web works. Trust me, I just went to this site, I searched for it, I copied it, and I pasted it. So it's nothing new, it's nothing too complicated. So here we are gonna have a checkbox, and then it's gonna get a name of checked B. I think that was from material UI. That's why I wrote that. Color of primary and self-closing tag, and then we are gonna have an label of show password, and then self-closing tag. Okay, so yeah, sorry for that. Save that. As you can see, we get this thing too. Now the last thing for our HTML is this figure there. So we'll have outside of these two divs, we are gonna create a figure class name of sign up __ figure. Trust me guys, if you use div also, it won't make any difference. We just use it to, like, it's good to use it because just it's like convenient to browser, like browser already knows what is that. Just you can use div, it doesn't matter a lot. So here we're gonna have an image, and we've got a class name of sign up __ figure image, and yeah, and then we're gonna have an src. So for the src, I want you to go to my GitHub repo and copy this. I know that I could have just add inside this public folder, but I feel too lazy to add that, so just do that. So here we can give an alternative of account, self-closing tag, and then we are gonna have a figure caption here, fig caption, which has got a class name of sign up __ fig caption. Let's have the small fig caption, and then we can say one account, all of Google for you, all of Google working for you. Save that. Let's go. How does that looks? Okay, so we got a big image. So now we have to work on the styles. So again, I'll bring this way, move to style.css, and so this thing has got some big styles. Yeah, this has a lot of styles, but anyways, let's start it. So first of all, to our sign up, I'm gonna __ container. I'm gonna give a display of flex, and then to align items of center, and justify content of space between. Okay, this is the original application, this is the application. So we have to import a style.css also. Up from here, import, make sure guys you import all of these things. Import style.css. Did I name it styles or style? Okay, so it is style. Okay, yeah, it's fine. Oh no, it's not fine. Okay, so sign up. Okay, styles, sign up __ container, and let's go back. Yeah, that's fine. And then to our .sign up, we are gonna give a width of 750 pixels, border of 1 pixel solid, hashtag DADCEO, border radius of 7 pixels, same which we used earlier, then a padding of 40 pixel, height of 80, view height, and position of relative. Save that. Okay, for some reason there's no difference being made in the site. If I refresh there, okay, what are we doing wrong there? So sign up, we are importing a ./style.css. We are even writing this properly. We have a class names too. Okay, so at least the figure is inside of which two? Okay, it's under. Okay, I did something wrong. It has not. The figure has not. Okay, no, it's fine. Sorry, it's fine. No, it's actually. One second, I'll just check it. So here it should be. No, we are having container. Then okay, yeah. So this figure should be outside of this thing. Where's the figure? One second, I'm doing something wrong. Figure, it should be here. Save that. Div, let's see which div is. Okay, so one more div upward, it should be here. Save that. Right, and then go back to your sign up. Okay, so we have an. Let me go through it again. Sign up __ container, div class name of sign up, and then we have the self closing loading div. Fine, we have a container, we have an left, that image h1 tag, p tag, and then is inputs, div text field, and okay, that's fine here. Then we start with another text field which ends there itself. Then we have an password inputs, which is a big one, so it's end after button. So here we have a sign in __ buttons. So here which end. Okay, so here we have a buttons which also ends there. So outside of these two divs, okay, that's so. Which is what is div is this one? It's sign up _. What is the problem? Okay, so it's fine now. Okay, it's fine. It's working fine now. That is what exactly we need. Let's go back to our styles.css. Let's increase, decrease its width. We're gonna make it responsive a bit later. We need. Okay, this much is fine. Okay, it looks like this way now. Okay, so here it should be not. Okay, so I misspelled this here too. Okay, now it has got some nice looking border too. Okay, fine, it's fine now, most probably. So okay, so now to our now we'll okay, so now let's style a figure. So to our, let me check the, let's close this thing. Yeah, sign up here. So where is our figure? Figure is right here. Sign up __ figure. Let's copy that. The sign up __ figure. We are gonna give a text align of center and margin right of 0. Yeah, that way. And then we are gonna target our image. To our image, I'm gonna give a max width of 100%, max with 100%, height width of 244 pixels, height of 244 pixel. Let me move it this. Okay, let me move it here for now. Save that. That looks fine. Then figure. Then we are gonna target a figure caption. This thing. Then to this we are gonna, to our caption we are gonna give a font size of 16 pixels, a font size of 16 pixel, and a font weight of 300, font weight of 300. Then to our, now let's target our heading. So to our heading, we are gonna give a font size of 24 pixel, font weight of 400, line height of 1.3. Save that. And then we are gonna have our subheading. So to our subheading, we are gonna give a font size of 16 pixel, not 15, 16 pixel, and then a font weight of 400, and then a margin top of minus 5 pixels. Save that. Looks clean. Now here to our inputs dot sign up underscore inputs, we are gonna give a margin top of 40 pixel. Yeah. And then to our sign up underscore name inputs, we are gonna give a display of flex, width of 100%, justify content, justify content of space between, and then a margin bottom of 20 pixel. Save that. Looks clean. Now let's have dot sign up underscore name input. To this we are gonna give a margin right of 10 pixel, I important. Save that. Looks clean. And now let's style our password input. So we are gonna say dot sign up, while we spell sign wrong, sign up underscore password inputs, to which we are gonna give a margin right of 10 pixel, sorry, not margin right, margin top, and a width of 100%, yeah, that way. And now okay, we are doing something wrong. Okay, let me check there. So let me have it on full screen. So our inputs, where are inputs? So here inputs, then we have a not password inputs, we have this we have this sign in pass. Okay, 1 second. Yeah, here sign up underscore inputs, we have this thing here. Fine, we have 2 text fields, then name inputs end over here. Okay, that's fine. So so name inputs end over here, then we have a normal text field, then we have password inputs. Okay, so it's work with password wrapper. Okay, got that. So it's okay. So let's go back to our style.css, not this style.css, this style.css, this way. Yeah, so once we go there, then to our sorry for the noise. Anyway, so let's continue with this thing. So here let's do okay, why is my camera not working? Okay, so for some reason my camera is not working. Give me 1 second, I'll change up my camera. I just noticed that. Let's notice that now. Okay, give me, I'll use this one camera. Okay, so yeah, so okay, so this camera is fine, it should work fine now. Okay, so yeah, we have password input. So dot sign up underscore password wrapper. To our wrapper we are gonna give a display of flex. Save that. Okay, so I think we have spelled something wrong. So okay, yeah, here it is, sign up underscore password wrapper. Yeah, spelling was wrong. Okay, so we did something wrong. So here, where is a password wrapper? Okay, so form control, I think so. Let's make it full screen. So here's our password wrapper. Fine. Okay, so all of this should be, I think, outside of this. Let me check. So I hope so I made it outside of that. So password wrapper. Okay, so it's actually outside of password wrapper. So Control X, Control V, save that, and now let's refresh. Yeah, that looks better. That is fine now. Yeah, it is fine now. Don't worry, it's not responsive. If we make it full screen, it's like it looks better. Yeah. So this is how our original one is, and 1 second. This is how our real one is, right? So let's go to our styles.css back again. So style.css password wrapper. Okay, so now we now have a target as sign up and underscore password input. To this we are gonna give a margin right of 10 pixels and again an I important tag. As you can see, it got some spacing there. So now let's style this our helper text. So we're gonna say dot sign in underscore helper text, to which we're gonna give a color of RGBA, color of RGB 0.54. I hope I didn't wrote something extra, something new styles there. Okay, that's same style which I then no new style there. So font size, I'm gonna give 0.75 ren. As you can see, it already started looking much better. So here we are gonna have a margin top of 3 pixel and then a font weight of 400. Font weight of 400. And margin left of 10 pixel, right? That looks better. So yeah, that looks better. So I don't think we need to style or show password anyway, so let's work on our buttons. So we're gonna say dot sign in underscore. Okay, why did I wrote sign in or sign in there? Okay, so I wrote sign in at much places. So sorry guys. So for the name thing, just gonna do this thing. I'm gonna say to everywhere I have signed in, I'm gonna say, because I use sign in multiple places, I'm gonna say sign up. So now it should not work. It should create some errors, so I change sign up helper text. Yeah, that's it, what I changed. Okay, yeah, that is not an issue. So sign up underscore buttons. To our buttons, I'm gonna give a display of flex. Again, the same thing which you gave earlier. Justify content of space between and a margin top of 40 pixels. Save that. Okay, so buttons do not work. Do we need to give a width of 100%? So let's try giving a width of 100%. Okay, so these still not work. Why is this so? Okay, we have the sign in underscore buttons. That should work, I think so. Sign up underscore buttons. What did I did wrong? Okay, so we have did something wrong. It does not work at all. Let's give some back. Okay, I think I should refresh. Okay, I should go. Okay, so yeah, it was because of the refresh thing. That's fine. So if I once again to check it, so everything's working fine. I think this should be not outline. So variant, where is it? This one. Variant, it should be text. Yeah, that's fine, better. Yeah, so to our button dot sign in underscore underscore button. To this we are gonna give a font weight of 500 and text transform. Okay, one second. Text transfer of capitalize I important, same for that side, I important. Okay, that it should be sign up, not sign in. Save that. As you can see, it works. So here we are going fine. So let's make, I think we are done with this normal this thing. We are now, let's just make it bit responsive. Yeah, let's make it bit responsive. We have, okay, so we have to give full width here. We didn't give a full width, so let's go to sign up where we have our input email thing. Let's say just a full width. So this is an what this is, you can like the material UI property, yeah, that's a material UI property. So you just say that and material UI got that. So now let's make it responsive. So you're gonna say @media max width of 665 pixel to dot sign up. Let's just to check, let's give a background color of red. Save that. So move it. Yeah, that's fine, it's working. Do it this way, it does not work here. Okay, so here we have this. So to our sign up we are gonna give a width of again an 80% view width, and once you do that, give a border of none. And to our sign up underscore name inputs, we are gonna give a flex direction of column, and then dot sign up underscore name input, we are gonna give a margin bottom of 20 pixel and an I important. And then to us, okay, so this is all we need. So here let's save that. Okay, so name inputs, so what did we went wrong? Name inputs, okay, display of flex, that's not any, okay, so it should be margin bottom of 20 pixels, I think. Yeah, that's fine. Okay, so now for me to work on a password, why is this password creating an error? Okay, so we have to give this thing a display of none also. So what we'll do is we'll create an this is for this thing, this for this view. Now we need to make it responsive for this. We'll make this invisible here. So what I'm gonna say is @media max width of 850 pixel. To this you're gonna give dot sign up padding of 40 pixel width of 50% view width. Save that, looks better. So now to our dot sign up underscore container, we are gonna give a display, if we can give this flex direction of row, and then we are gonna also give a position of relative. Save that. Okay, and then we are gonna to our figure, we are gonna say dot sign up, okay, sign up underscore figure. To this we are gonna give a display of none. Now once I do that, it should look better, and yep, it does looks better. So here it goes full screen, and here it isn't. So now we are actually done with this thing also. So what is the next thing we need to do is from sign in we need to also switch back to a sign up. So how do we do that? So obviously we cannot create another constant another use state inside of this, because it actually depends on the sign in it depends on this state here, like this thing, it depends on this this state here. So we need to find a way to change this value also, right? So how can we do that? So the way we do is key, we'll pass some props. So what are props? Props are basically, okay, I'll explain you in a sec. Yeah, so just let's pass props from now, then I'll explain it, because it will be more easy to explain you that way. So I'm just gonna say dot signer is equals to signer. So this is basically, it's the name of that prop which you wanna send there. You can just change it to anything. This doesn't matter, and this is the value that this is the value which it accepts. So now when you send that, so let's copy this, let's go back to our sign up. Now here, if we say props, if you can accept, you can just take anything right there. So just if we console log this, let's see what do we get. Props, right? So here, let's console log it. Okay, so as you can see, we get this value, show sign up to true. If I click on, okay, so let me refresh. So you do not get any value here, because because that component is still not rendered. So if I click on create account, as you can see, as soon as it renders, it gives in sign up of true. Ignore these things. So right, so here, so now we will play. Now as you can see, it's an object. So what we can do is we can say props dot show sign up. Another way you can do is you can just simply destructure the props. So here, just here we can say, this. So the reason why we are basically destructuring it. What is destructuring? Let me explain you. For example, you are getting an object. For example, you're getting an, okay, I won't confuse it with by saying object. When I was a beginner, I got a lot of confused. What is this object? Like, I don't understand it. So you can say it like this. So for example, we have an variable. For example, variable. So now this variable have, for example, let's have name of Pulkit, class of anything, right? So now for example, I want to get this value, then what you would do? So to get this value, you're gonna say variable dot name, right? So we get the access of this value. Another way you can do is you can just simply destructure it. So the way destructuring work is so like you can do it in this case, but I'm just explaining you. For example, you're getting a value, you can curly brace on this, and you can just say name, right? So this is the way it works. So I hope you get that. So basically we are destructuring this. So this is passing a value called props, and then object called props, and in that we are getting this show sign up, right? So that works. So now the thing here is when the user clicks on sign in instead, what we want to do is we're going to set the value to false. So const toggle sign up equals to an arrow function, and then set show. Okay, so we have to in order to change the value, we would have to, okay, one second, in order to change the value we have to send this thing here, because we cannot change this value. This is for accessing the value, right? So I'll just copy this thing. So we say here, okay, we go to sign up, and we say this here, and instead of this being, we say it to be false. Here let's accept this as source sign up, and here let's accept an event, and just let's click on that, and now just let's see the magic. So where is the sign in instead? I'm gonna say on click is equals to toggle sign up. Let's check, does that works? So I think let's refresh, and if you click on create account, okay, works. Great, that is working, right? So now that is working. Next thing what you want is this kind of a loading effect and this blur effect. So what we can do is we'll create another state which manages the loading state basically the loading state. So when it is loading, we want it to be, sorry, I am looking at that camera, sorry guys, I am looking at that camera thinking that my this camera is active, actually this camera is active, okay, sorry. So I just turn off this camera, yeah. So okay, so we can work on that now, yeah. So let's work on that. So basically what we want is key, as you notice, see, we know that our this change in a snap, it does not actually takes time, right? So but I thought let's make it take some time, so that would look much better, I thought so. But you can also leave it, keep it this way also, but you can keep it that way also. It would its loading would never take time more than this or less than this. It would be exactly, it's around I think 1.5 seconds, right? So let's work on that now. So first of all, how does that works? It's like basically it's a timer. Like for when I click on sign in for 2.5 seconds, it's gonna be this, then like it's gonna be on the loading state where it's loading and the blur effect is there. Then after 1.5 seconds, it's gonna change, it's gonna switch me to a sign in or a sign up page. So that is what I want here. So let's first do it with sign in and then let's do it with sign up. So okay, so let's go to sign in, yeah, so let's go to sign in and then let's create an state of const loading, set loading. Okay, we can now change this to full screen. Loading, let me open this also. Loading equals to use state of false initially, right? It's gonna be false initially. Now what you want is when a user clicks on this, first of all we wanna set a loading to true. After this event not previously found, first of all I want to set the loading to true. Now I wanna wait 2.5 seconds. Then after 2.5 seconds, I want the user to be to get redirected to sign up page and turn off the loading. So how do we do that? We'll use something called set timeout. So set timeout, this is a normal JavaScript function feature. So here we just say it's not a React feature, right? So here it accepts an arrow function. Then after this comma, you add how much time you want. It has to be in milliseconds. So for 1.5 seconds, we have to do multiply with 100. So you're gonna say 1500. That's 1.5 seconds, right? So here now here inside of this, we'll set our show sign up to false or true, sorry, and then our loading to true, set loading to false, right? So let's see how does that. So now ideally now it should redirect us only after 1.5 seconds. Let's check that. So if I click on create account, okay, so let me refresh it. So let's click on create. Okay, so it's rendering it immediately. So let's check the reason. So its timeout is being set there, okay, because it's okay. So the reason was because we was doing it here, so it automatically redirected. So you have to remove it from here. So here let's now click on sign in. Now as you can see, it got redirected. It waited some time. It's 1.5 seconds. Got back redirected here. So next thing, we wanna set some blur effect, right? For that blur effect, we are gonna use class name. So its class name, we're gonna say sign in blur. So like it's basically we're gonna reduce the opacity to make it's actually not getting blurred, it's getting a bit of light color. So we are just gonna reduce the opacity. So to do that, we're gonna use some string concatenation. So here inside where is a login wrapper here. So in here what we're gonna say, first of all, now the value depends. If the loading is true, we wanna give this a blur effect. Basically we wanna add a property to this which gives us a blur effect. So we can add a class name there, and in a CSS to that class name we can give a blur effect we to that we can give a opacity of 0.5, basically half. Sorry guys, I won't be able to make any contact with you. Eye to eye contact would be hard to make with you, because like it's like too weird to just see a camera there, because there I was seeing myself. Like now I don't have a preview of what I'm how can I see, like it's just this thing here, this camera. Now I cannot actually make a proper eye contact. So sorry for that, I'll just fix that. I need to connect this with the wire, so I'll do that, don't worry for that. I'll do that soon. So here inside of login wrapper, let's do some string concatenation. So as you know, you need to write inside of JS to start to do that what do you say, you need to wrap it curly braces to do any JS thing, which is also called JS checks. So here this is called parentheses. So parentheses are the keys on the keys above the tab. So these are not this thing, not single double, not single quote, these are parentheses bit of slant. So use those. When I did that first, I got a lot of confused. So here you say login underscore underscore wrapper. Now to add in class name, sorry for the spelling. So to add the class name, you say dollar, and inside of this you can add anything you want. For example, this, so it will automatically add for the class name. But in our case, we want to be dependent on a value. So what do we say here is key, if loading is true, then only, and then basically be, and then means key loading. If loading is true, then only do this. Then add an class name of login underscore underscore fade. Save that. Now let's give an class name. Let's do that dot login underscore underscore fade, to which you're gonna give an opacity of 0.5. Let's save that, and now it most probably should work. As you can see, it works. Won't work for siren for now, but if you click on create account, 1.5 second for it's blur for that time, and it changes. So we are good to go now. So like for the loading thing, first of all we're gonna add the classic Gmail animation, then we are gonna work on this, because we are gonna use some class name styles from there itself, right? So here, so let's do the same thing from here for here too. So we can just pretty much copy this thing, full thing here. We go to sign up. We'll do this. Let's import use state. One second. Let's do it here. Then let's import. Why it's not asking me to show me an error for an use state? Anyways, so we don't need toggle sign up. Okay, so we need to be it has to be inside of this, and now we can remove that, set so show sign up to be true. No, so here it should change to false, and loading also to false, right? So now we'll do that. So let's check if that works. So if I click on sign in instead, it should wait for some time, redirect it, wait it for some time, wait for some time, redirect it. So let's add the login animation, let's add the blur effect, the darken effect. So why I'm saying blur again and again, copy that, go to sign up. So for the sign up, let me check where do we need to do it. So here, because I don't remember like when I did it, so here, yeah, we need to do it here. So let me do this. So here, okay, sign up. Okay, we can cut this and paste it. Now I think it should work. Let's make it full screen. Let me get my camera back there. Let's refresh, click on create account. Okay, fade and sign in. Great, guys. So now since we are done with this event, so the next thing we could work upon is I think the next thing we can work on is, let me sign in. So once it gets signed in, let's work on this thing. Let's get this animation there. So how do we control this? So to control this, we are gonna use some states. Yeah, we are gonna again use some states, but those states will be actually available to throughout our whole application. So making things available throughout to application is like full application. Either you can use props, but props doesn't work out every time. It sometimes can lead you to props drilling too. So and once you like prop drilling is basically like you have to pass the props again and again. For example, I have to pass an value from, okay, one second, let me get my, yeah. So for example, I wanna pass an value to my sign up page. So what I need to do is, first of all, I have to pass that value to sign in, then I have to pass that, then I have to accept that value from sign in, then I have to pass that value to sign up. Sorry, first I have to accept that value from app.js, then I have to send that value to our sign up, then sign up has to accept that value, and then he has to like play with that value. So this thing like it's just 2-step task for now, but sometimes you can have a long files there, then it eventually leads to prop drilling. So to like get rid of that, what people use is key, there's something called context. So there are 2 ways you can use it. You must have heard of Redux, or like Redux is basically an app layer, so which basically like provides the data for you, and but in our case we won't be using Redux because it can get a bit complicated, not very complicated, but yeah, you might get a bit of confused. So in our case we are gonna be using just an we are gonna be using this thing, context. So what are context? Context is nothing complicated. I will explain you. First, we'll create another folder. We'll name it context. So inside of our context, we're gonna have another file. We name it context.js. So inside of our context, we are gonna say const context is equals to create context. So to our context, you can also consider it as also a use state. Context you can consider as a use state, but not exactly a use state. It can contain any kind of value. It can contain multiple values like a variable, a constant, functions, even any kind of value. Just everything you can like wanna pass through, any value you wanna pass through your application, you can use context for that. It's basically a use state, but can provide any kind of a value to your whole application. So now whatever we are writing is the way of using that, because explaining and way of using that, explaining might be too easy, but way of using that might be complicated. So just don't get confused if the syntax is a bit complicated, because syntax doesn't matter. You'll just get to used to it very soon. So now here, first of all, we'll create a function so that we can use that. Use that basically like another file can use that, like it can get the value from there. Actually it's a mixture of a use state and a prop, so you'll get that. This will make more sense when we really start fetching the values. So first of all, let's create a function, export function, use local you can like guys, you can change the name whatever you want. So I know the names are pretty much weird, but you can use anything you want. So export function, use local context. It can be an arrow function also, doesn't matter. There's not much difference between arrow and normal function. Yeah. So here we're gonna say use context. In here we're gonna pass our name of context, right? So just auto import it from React. So now if an user has to fetch a value, all he has to do is const destructure the value, whatever the value is, for example ABC. So and equals to use local context and import that from the value. So it's the only thing, that is why we are doing that, right? So now the next thing is, for now we want to set that value. You can just set that value from here. To set all those values, you need that too has to be done with here also. Like initially you have to for the use, for example, you know, set a use state variable function here. You have to create that here, right? So for that we created another function. We're gonna say export function context context provider. Now it accepts children too. I'll explain you why we do that in a second. So here we are gonna say const abc equals to test. So here, then in here we return our context dot provider. This is just, guys, don't get confused, it's just the way of writing the syntax. And then it accepts an event, that is value, and then here we create a const value. In here you write everything that you like, any kind of a value you wanna send there. So the last thing we need to do is to make this working, we need to go our index.js and wrap all of our application into a context provider. So we don't need this React strict mode, so you can remove this. Instead of this you can say context provider. So now what that children mean is key, what the children meant is key. Children is basically like accepting all that children have. So for example, context provider, so what is a children app? So the whole of the application, everything inside this even the sign in, sign up, everything is gonna be will be get rendered through this, not a so now it basically means that it's parent component, basically like whole of your application gonna be rendered through this context provider. If I show you an example, let's go to your application. If I open up my inspect, and then there's a nice little extension for reader which gives you the, like basically it has the whatever the children are, whatever you render, like whatever that's a div components, it shows you everything whatever you are entering. So these are the material by childs, that's why we have so many childs. That is, anyway, that's not an issue. So here as you can see, it is context provider, so like it's everything is wrapped inside a context. So now we can access any of our component, can access any kind of a value that they want, right? So now to give an example, let's get an value from our app.js. Let's go to app.js, and then for example from a context you want abc value. So what we'll do is we'll go to our app, then we're gonna say const you can say test equals to use local context, one second, this thing, why I'm not getting any, okay, no, okay, yeah. So now if I console log our test, so let's console log it and let's see what value do we get. Let's open our inspect. Inside of a console, as you can see, we get abc equals to 10. So it's similar to the props we are getting, right? It's not similar, it's exactly like you're taking a value like a prop. So but instead of like rendering on every component, you can directly get it from from any file you want. So now we can destructure it to test abc because you want our abc value, and let's console log abc. So we should get our abc. Let's inspect it again. So let's go to, as you can see, we got this test here, right? That means it's working fine. Okay, so the reason we added here is okay, so how do we want whenever the user is logged in? So whenever the user is logged in, we want the application to only show login or a sign up page. If user is not logged in, then we want to show him our home page, first loading page, then after the loading ends, then our home page. So the way we do is we'll go back to our this. So now since we'll be using Firebase for a login authentication, so Firebase is gonna return, we're gonna do it later, it will make more sense later once we do it. So it basically like if there's a user exists, it returns and it will give you a lot of value about the user. So if that value exists, that means user is logged in. If that value doesn't exist, that means user is logged out. So for now we can just create a dummy variable to just check that if that just to make it functional, then we'll add the real values there. So if I say here, if I click on, if I if we'll create an another use state, we'll name it const current user set current user is equals to use state. So if you don't know this thing, then this is a extension called use state, so you can use that. I saw it on a YouTube ad, then I just installed it. It's nice to use. Yeah, so current user, and now let's also pass this value here in a value. Yeah, we pass this here, and so now let's create another use state. So we'll say const, let's name it app loading, not app loading, let's name it app state, set app state equals to use state of let's say for loading for now, right? So now loading, so now if it is loading, so now let's do this thing. So we'll go to, let's pass this value here. Okay, instead of loading, let's say it home. So what we'll do is inside of our app.js, we can remove this first. Then inside of our app.js, let's get this value. So okay, why the hell app.js is on come here? Why is app.js doing it? I should be here. Yeah, that's fine now. So inside of our app.js, so yeah, here we can get our app state. So now our app state depends on what? So if our app state triple equals to let me check what we named it. So if it is triple equal to home, then just render our home page, right? And let's copy this, and if our use state is to log in, then render our this sign in page, right? Now if we save that, go back to our application. Okay, so we get an error, no such file directory open. Okay, so index.js./app, let's save this, go back to our application, and now as you can see, we see a blank page. It should be, you should see home there actually. So if triple equals, okay, so I added this one space there. Now if I bring back my application, I should see h1 home written there, right? So now if I change my state to sign in, login, so if I change this to log in and bring up my application back, now I should see our sign up page. If we refresh, okay, we don't see anything. Let's check why did that happen. It's login there inside of our app.js. Okay, we have an extra space there. Save that, go back. Now as you can see, you see the login page, right? So now there's no way user can switch back to home page or login page. So now basically, now our value depends on our application only depends on this app loading, like whatever we're gonna render. So we have to change this thing here, app state here, right? So now let's add our login thing, login, basically this login animation. If I log out, sign out from here and sign in again, so let's add this, right, this nice thing, right? So let's do that. We'll go back again to our this. So now what I want to do is first I'll create a new component, name it loading, and then inside of here create a new file, loading.js, again RAFCE, then another new file, styles.css. So since I already made the video on loading animation, I won't be explaining you all of that again. So now what I want to do is go to our YouTube channel I'll do that for you also. So I'll go back to my YouTube channel, this thing, go to this GitHub repo, and then first of all copy this index.html code, copy all the style components and body tag. Just copy that, go back to your application, paste it here, save that, import your styles.css, styles.css, save that, go back to styles.css, and then in this also you go back to styles.css, copy all of these styles, copy this, paste it right here, and then let's create another state of loading, and if it's loading, then you want to render our loading page. Let's auto import also, so let's auto import, and let's change the state in the context to loading. Now we should hopefully see our login animation. So if we go back, let's refresh. As you can see, we see this nice little login animation. So what is the next thing we need to do? So okay, so we are done here. So next thing we can do is let's go back to our login page. Inside of our, let's go to login. So this thing works nice. So the next thing we'll do is let me log out from here. So once we logged out, let's work on this thing. Let's add this loading animation, this thing, right? So let's work on that. Refresh, go back to your VS Code. So in here, go to your loading.js. So not loading.js, sorry, go to signin.js. Then inside of your signin.js, where we have this div login __ loading, then we only wanted to we want only this div to be visible only if our loading is true, right? So let's add a JSX tag here. So if it says loading, if it is true, then only render this, right? Then only you have to render this, and if it isn't true, then it would render nothing. So let's go back to your styles.css. So in here, if we go to the bottom, so inside of our login.loading, we wanna first of all give it an animation of A to S. I will not explain because I already told inside of the just loading Gmail loadings video. So this styles I have already explained. These are the same style. So what I'll do is I'll just copy this. So only difference is some timing. So I'll just copy and paste it there. So now I think we should see loading. So if I click on create account, okay, we don't see loading. Okay, we don't see any loading. Let's see why it is that happening, because we need to give a before tag also. We have to give a before. So if you have watched the earlier video, you would know that why we are doing, it's no sense of explaining again and again, same thing. So as you can see, we get this loading. So now we have to change it for here also, right? So now actually we might run into an error now. So here, okay, the reason is I got the reason why it's already showing up there. So inside of a signup.js, here also it only depends if loading is true, right? So if loading is true here, loading and then only you have to render this, or else don't render, right? And then you have to give this some styles too. So go back to this, and then one second, so here first of all let's give it some, we already need it, first of all let's give some styles for the responsive view. So here we need to give a top of -1 pixel, and then a left of minus 30 pixel and a right of 0, save that. And then for our loading, and then here for our main view we want to give position of absolute, this thing, these are the basic sum styles, and this should be inside of this thing here. And now let's save that. Now I think this should also work. Okay, so we have some issues, I'll check that out too. So if I again click on, let's refresh, create account, working fine, sign in instead. Okay, so we have some issues here, so it should be sign up underscore loading. Okay, that's fine. Are we giving correct style name? Okay, let's click on create account. Let's click sign in instead. Okay, this is working fine. We have position of absolute, sign up underscore loading. Okay, then why is this not working then? Okay, let's give it a more max is 65 pixel dot sign up underscore loading, position absolute, width of 100%. Are these styles being rendered or not? Let's check that. So inspect, 1 second, let me do this thing, sign up underscore loading. So here let's render it all every time. Let's render it every time there. So we'll just say loading here, just to check if our styles are getting rendered or not. So you see this thing. Okay, let me open my inspect and let's see. Yeah, this thing. So are we getting, okay, we are getting this. Okay, suppose we have to give an important here. The width also we're gonna give an important. That is the reason they are not, the styles are not working. So go back to style.css, I of important, and then here also I important, save that. Now it should work. As you can see, it got shifted to top. And let's do one more thing here, sign-in.js. So here let's give this thing, and now it should work properly. And as you can see, this thing absolutely perfectly works. So now since we are done with most of the styles, maybe I think we can start making start using login functionality. Or yeah, okay, I think we can work upon our login functionality then. So to do that, what I want to do is go to your Firebase. Okay, so we'll be using this as Firebase. So Firebase is basically like an backend, you can call that a sort of a backend. So Firebase is super easy to use. There's not much logic. So what you want to do is on Google search for Firebase and click on this link, firebase.google.com. click on go to console. I'll switch back to my account, different account, so I'm signed out of this, no problem. I'll create another project. I'll name it Gmail clone. Right, I click on continue. This depends on you wanna have it or not. It does not actually make sense, so I'll just cross it, and it depends on you if you want to have that or not. So let's wait for it to create our project. I'm basically setting everything like database, and it's like setting up your project. So let's wait for it, and then we'll set up a Firebase inside of our application. So you can click on continue now. Then click on this web icon. Then here just enter your any name you want. So in my case I'll be naming YT Gmail clone. Just click on register app. We'll be also setting up hosting, but actually we don't need for now. It's just similar to wasting your time. So we'll wait for this, and then we need this thing right here, right? So now what basically you want to do is go back to your sign up, then close all of your folder. Inside of a inside src, create another file, name it and then inside here create another file, name it firebase.js. So basically now what we are doing is initializing Firebase into our application, so we can use the features of Firebase, right? So first of all, we wanna add the Firebase package. So what you have to do is just go to open another terminal, click on just type yarn or npm install. In my case it's yarn add Firebase. So I'll just type yarn add Firebase. So and the next thing is inside of a Firebase, let's wait for this so we can initialize Firebase more faster. So this thing we see right here, this is basically the API, the credentials to use and database. So don't worry, I'll be deleting this after I make this. I'll release this video. This will delete after CleverFox release this video. I'll just delete that. So here let's just wait for this thing and then we can continue. Also, okay, so by the time it happens, you can set up another thing. So here, when you now just click on authentication in the left corner, click on authentication. Then inside of then here, just click on get started, and then click on email and password. Then just click on enable and save. So this basically now Firebase knows that we'll be using their email and password functionality, right? So here every user that has an account for your project, everything would be shown there. Don't worry, you won't be able to use the password there. That's the first thing which I checked when I used Firebase. So okay, so Firebase installed now. So what we'll do, first of all, we'll import our Firebase from Firebase. And then here we'll say import Firebase/auth. Then inside here we're gonna say import Firebase/Firestore. Firebase/Firestore, right? And then here we're gonna create a variable, we name it. Okay. So now just go back to your application, click on settings, click on project settings, go down, click on this config radio button, and just copy all of this. Copy this, go back to your application, paste it here, and then just say Firebase.initialize app, Firebase.initialize app, Firebase config, right? So this is it's directly coming from the documentation. It's not there's nothing to explain. It's basically how the Firebase, it's basically like how Firebase works. So here we are gonna be using export. We are gonna export const auth equals to Firebase.auth, and then we are also gonna use the database, not now, but we can export it everything at once. So we are gonna say export const db equals to firebase.db. We're gonna say firebase.firestore here, firebase.firestore, and then we're gonna say export const. We're gonna say okay, this is not gonna be a default. Okay, let's do it this way, const storage. So storage, actually we need storage here. Okay, we don't need storage here. So this is the only thing which you need to do here. So what this basically means, it will get the authentication thing ready for you, and this thing will get the Firestore thing ready for you. Firestore basically the database which will come into later. For now we're just using auth here. So first of all, you wanna sign in, right? So we'll go to our context.js, and let's do it inside of our components only. So we'll go to sign. First of all, let's do work with sign in. So if we click on, okay, so let me check. Yeah, so here now basically what we want is when the user clicks on login, Firebase we're gonna send the user has to log in. So basically we don't have to add any logic there. The only thing we need to do is we wanna tell this to Firebase that just do all this logic. We are using Firebase, so we have to find a way how to tell this to Firebase you have to follow these steps, right? So for that, what we'll do is first of all we create a function. We'll just say const sign in equals to this. Okay, so I don't know, sometimes it works, sometimes it's not. Anyway, so it's gonna also, one second, where's minus control, plus, yeah. So here it's gonna accept an event. So we are first of all gonna say event dot prevent default, and then here first now we're gonna set the show loading to true, right? Because as you can see, like when we log in here, it's like it gives this loading effect, right? And then the next thing, okay, so it should be set loading, not set show loading. So set loading to true, and then we're gonna say auth. First of all, we have to import this auth from your library, from your Firebase. Then we say dot sign in with email and password. Then it accepts two parameters, email and password, and then it is it's obviously an arrow function. One second, yeah, this should be this way, this thing right here. Okay, so it should be outside of this, and then here we have to have this thing right here. Yeah, no, it's fine. So here the parameter basically mean whenever you call this function, it will automatically, like, it knows how then it will take this email and this password automatically, right? So in our case now, like basically whenever you do this, okay, no, it does not have to be an arrow function. So basically it will return here, it should be email and password basically means that two values. Okay, I told you something wrong, sorry for that. So here it's basically the two values that are from our input, from a password, and this, like whatever the user types inside of this thing, text field inside of our input, that is gonna be our email and the password. Those two things are gonna be here, which the user is gonna type, that is email and password, right? So now first of all we need to find a way to store that value. So to do that, first of all, what we are gonna do, we are gonna create an state const. Okay, for now we are doing, like, we are basically storing the value whatever the user types. So for that, what we'll do is first of all you say const then email, and then we are gonna say set email, and then we're gonna say set email is equals to useState of an empty string. Then same thing, I'm gonna just copy and paste this. You're gonna say pass here password, set password. Okay, this has to be an empty string, yeah, set password. Okay, so this is fine. Now basically now we have to, like, get this value from here. So first of all we'll tell our input to use whatever the values is of this. So if we say here value to be our email, right? Save that. Now if I go back to my application, this thing, so now if we refresh, okay, so okay, we are getting an error, Firebase.initialize app is not in function. Okay, so we did something wrong. Let's go back to our Firebase.js. So it says Firebase.initialize app is not in function. They spelled it wrong, I think so. Firebase.initialize. Okay, I spelled this wrong. It should be this. So just refresh. Now it should work. As you can see, now this thing is empty. If we even try to type something here, I am not able to type. Right? You can hear the keyboard noise, right? I'm typing, and like I cannot type anything. The reason behind this is what we are saying. Let me go back. What we are saying is its value should be the value inside of our email, and what is the value inside email? It's an empty string. If I say hi here, then it should automatically change to hi also there. As you can see, it got changed to hi. right? So it's basically like it's setting a value automatically. Like we have to somehow change this value. So to do that, okay, this is nice. So this area label which you got, right, that thing was nice. Yeah, anyways, so yeah, so here, yeah, so to do that, first of all, now we're gonna set that value. So here there's an event handler, we say on change. So basically whenever the value changes inside of our, whenever the user types something, it will accept an event, then there it will, like, now we have to set that value. So we will set password to e.target.value. So what this basically means is just whenever the value changes, even set that value to the email. So it will automatically change that thing. If you go back, so if I okay, let's refresh. Okay, it still does not work. Let me check what is the okay, so I was setting the password. It should be set email, right? I'll say set email. Now it should work. As you can see, now able to type something, and that value is actually getting stored inside of this variable. So now we'll do same thing with the password. So what you can do is you can just copy this, and here we can say email. Instead of email we can say password, and then instead of this set email you can say set password, right? Save that, both of should work. As you can see, both are working, right? Fine, let's go. So now the next thing is key, we wanna like have the users, when the user clicks on sign in, it should now able to sign in, right? So now what you'll say, first of all, let's do it this way. First of all, now it accepts an email and password, so it will automatically take that email and take that password and set that value. So Firebase will automatically do everything that it has to. So now now it returns an promise. So what basically promise is like it return whenever you calls, whenever you sends data, or like whenever you do something, so it return, whenever promise is returned, it gives you two methods, that is .then and .catch. There are more methods, like this is the most commonly used method. So .then basically means if the date, if your operation was successful, whatever the data we are sending, like whatever the operation we are doing, if we are like if we are signing with email and password, if sign-in was successful, then we say then here you do whatever, then here you write all the logic that you want, and in case if it wasn't successful, then we say .catch, and then again an arrow function, right? So this is what then, what is promises, then .catch, right? So now here, whenever user is logged in, let's give an alert of logged in. If it was successful, we'll handle the more such logic later, don't worry for that. And if it isn't logged in, so it will give you a parameter of error. So now we'll just alert error dot what was it? It was message or msg. Let me check. So once the user clicks on that, it was okay. Let me check. It was error. Yeah, it was error dot msg. Yeah, it was error dot msg. So let's save that. So now if I refresh, if I click on sign in, nothing happened, because we have to also call this, right? So to call this, like we have to, like whenever the user clicks on sign in, we wanted to also, like this function should be executed, right? So here we'll say on click is equals to sign in. Save that, go back to your application. Now it should work. So if we sign in, okay, so we don't get anything. We even see our loading. Okay, let me check why is that. So set show loading to true. We are actually not logged in. We are also having an alert of error. Did we get an error? Okay, let us do it again. So here is let me check. Okay, so if I type something, sign in. Okay, we get an error here. It says, okay, so it should be MSG, not it should be a message. Okay, one thing, you're getting an okay, it says code object argument error, sign in expected 2 arguments but got 1. Okay, so the error you provided does not contain a stack trace. We did something wrong, most probably. Let me check it then. Let's go back. So I think we should remove this extra bracket here. Save that. Now I think it should like something should happen. Okay, as you can see, it says undefined. Okay, so let's refresh. What is the error that we actually get? So if I type anything, click on sign in, what is the error we are getting? We have no error. Let's console log this error. Let's convert this as sign in. Yeah, here let's console log. Let's console.log our what is this happening? Error. Let's console log this, right? Save that. Let's go back. Okay, let's save this. Let's click on sign in. Okay, we got this error. So it's basically error.message. It's not error.msg, it's error.message. So it says the email address is badly formatted. So basically now the next thing we want is to like whatever the error we get, we also wanted to set it up there. Like for example, if we log out here, so here if I type wrong, like the email address is not proper, right? So it says email doesn't exist. If either it's wrong or it doesn't exist. So if I even say @gmail.com, and if I type sign in, and then it again says email doesn't exist. So even if our email exists, for example, this was the email I was using, so even if this email exists, so if the password is wrong, so it says incorrect password, right? So the reason why it was saying email also doesn't exist because it was it wasn't updated anyway. So it's now it says incorrect password, right? So let's do that. Let's set this error. So basically the red color it changes to red color, right? So there's a property of error, like the way we give an outline or a fill property to the material UI. There's also a property called this thing called error. So it will automatically give this red color and this error kind of a look, and this helper text you already know that it will automatically change it to red. Let's do that. First of all, let's store the error, whatever the error is. So if we say, yeah, so here first of all let's create two another use states. Let's make it an empty string again. So here let's say const mail error set mail error equals to use state of an empty string. Same with password. So password error set password error equals to use state of true, right? And then now now whenever we get an error, so now there are basically two things happen when we get an error. So first of all, we want to set our show loading to true. Whenever get an error, set loading should be false, right? Set loading should be false. It should go back to the normal. And now there could be error could be multiple types. So it could be, so first of all, one error could be like wrong password. So in case if it's a wrong password, we wanted to do different function, right? And if it's email doesn't exist, then also we want to do different thing. So what do we do is, first of all we say if error dot code, it's basically like the function of this Firebase returns it. If I go back to my application, inspect, I open my application, go to console, as you can see it gives an code. So if it's an invalid, so the code changes depending on the error you have. So I already took that. So it's basically like, so if error dot code, if it is triple equals to /wrong password, then what do we want to see? First of all, we wanna set our pass error, set our pass, what did I wrote there, set our password error to now it also initial value is not gonna be empty string, so its initial value gonna be first we're gonna accept a state of true. So like it's basically if the value is true or false, like if an error is there or it is not, right? So initially there would be no error, so we'll say state false, and then we'll have a message. So message will be an empty string initially, then we will change the message later on. So initially the state is gonna be false. So right, so first of all, if there is an error, then we wanna update our state to false, state to false, true. We're gonna update our state to true, and message we wanna update to incorrect password, right? So let me bring it, copy and paste it there. We wanted this to happen, and then if our error code is and then what it basically means is if our error code is user not found, or this straight to this thing means if error code is user not found or invalid email, if any of those condition happens, then whatever you want your application to do, you write inside of this. So here we wanna set our mail error, set mail error to state of true, and incorrect email doesn't exist, right? Email doesn't exist, right? That's fine. And that's the only logic we need. The next logic we need to our application is let's make that error visible also, because now the errors, there's nowhere we can make the error visible also, right? So here if we go on a text field, so in a text field error depends on error. So here when you get an error, so it accepts in two value, true or a false. It accepts a boolean value. So our boolean value we already have inside of our state. So in our case it will be mail dot state. So if it would be an, okay, 1 second, I thought mail error, it has to be mail error. So if the state is true, then it will give a red line, red color of a border, and then if state is false, then it's gonna have the normal text, and then we are gonna have an helper text too. So helper text, which is gonna be mail error dot message dot, okay, what do we have there? It is MSG, right? Yeah, MSG, mail error dot MSG. Okay, now if we save that, let's do the same thing with the password even. Password error, not password error, and then here we also gonna have this thing. Let's save that, go back to our application, and then let's refresh. Now we hopefully should see some errors. So if you click on sign in, it says email doesn't exist, and it automatically change the loading state, right? Email doesn't exist, we obviously not gonna, because we don't have any email here. If we try doing this, if we add an user, okay, you have to tell the so if we do react@gmail.com, password of Pulkit, and then if we add user here, 1 second, let add in user. So if we try signing, if we try react, yeah, now if we write any password, so now we should have an incorrect password. That's fine. So okay, so now that is working. Another thing we could do is key in here inside of our application, what we can say is whenever if an password, in case if an password is wrong and email is correct, then also let's set this to false. So this thing is not in our original application, I just noticed it now. So let's have an empty string, and in this case we'll have an state of false and an empty string. Okay guys, so I just noticed one thing. You might have seen a sudden change in the recording, right? So this is because I just saw the part which I recorded previously. Then so it was like there was a delay between audio and the video, so I just switched my recording software. Now you should not face any issues with that. So now we can continue with our application. So now here we have to say, instead of set main error, we'll say here set pass error. To this you're gonna say set false, and then it should say doesn't exist and empty string. So let's test our application. Here's our application. Let's enter in wrong password, wrong email first. So okay, it says doesn't exist. It should be email exists. Email doesn't exist, right? Yeah, here let's say email doesn't exist. Email doesn't exists, and then let's enter a correct email but wrong password. Let's test with that. How does that work? So if we sign in, okay, the email doesn't exist. Okay, let me check what is the email. Give me a second. Was this one or my another account? I think so, this one only. Authentication. Yeah, so it was react@gmail.com, not react.js. Let's say react@gmail.com. Let's sign in. So now as you can see, it says incorrect password. It means it's working fine, right? So now the next step we can do is we can, now since we are done with the login thing, we can move on to our sign up. So sign up is gonna have a pretty much more logic, because as you can see, like, it has got many inputs, right? So we have to set this input, then we have to first we'll do this show password thing, and then we'll start doing that too. So let's start working on that now. So we'll go back to our application. So here, so first of all, also we can instead of dot then of an alert, let's say set password error of empty, and set mail error also to be empty. Save that. Yeah, okay. So now we can move on to our sign up. Let's close all of our folders, open a component, then sign up.js. So wait 1 second, let me check. Can you see my camera? Okay, so you can see me, right? Yeah, okay, fine. So now let's work on that. So I'll go to signup.js. So first of all, what we'll do is let's add this. Let me log out from here. So let's go to create account. So let's add the show password thing, right? Let's add this thing here, the show password, and not with invisible password. So to do that, what we're gonna do, first of all, we're gonna create a state which takes a note of, like, it handles it basically keeps on a check whether it basically keeps on check whether the this thing is ticked or not, like it checked, our show password is checked or not. So to do that, what we're gonna say, we'll create a const, we'll limit checked, and then you're gonna say set checked equals to use state of false initially, and then what we'll do is we'll go down where we have this. So inside where are inputs, password inputs here, right? So here now this input depends if checked is true. If it is true, then have an then in type, the type should be of text, or else if it is not true, then the type should be of password, right? So same thing for our this thing, another input. So now the next thing we can do is we can we can now switch between the values. So to do that, what we'll do, first of all, this accepts an property called, 1 second, yeah, so it accepts a property called checked. So checked will be checked in our case, which we created just now, and then another one is gonna be on change. So whenever the user clicks on that, basically on change, you can say that whenever the value changes, you're gonna say an arrow function, then just set the value, set Yeah, then you're gonna say set checked to not equal to checked. Like it will basically like switch the value from the previous value it had. So if the previous value was true, then it would be false. If previous value would be false, then the next value would be true. Let's save that and let's see if that works or not. As you can, okay, this is the original application. Let's see. As you can see, it works. If I go here, when this is checked, it's showing that it is not checked. It is also then it is having a password. So the next thing we could do is now I think we can also work on our sign-in functionality. Also, before we do that, let's the way we had these use states, right? So let's create this kind of a use states. So in here there are two way we can do this. Either, let me check how I'm doing it. Okay, so for to do this, either we can have for every input, we can have every single use state. That basically means 1 2 3 4 5. We can have this 5 kind of use states. But what I thought, let's use objects, so that will make also somewhat familiar to you. It's not complicated, it's totally easy. So let's start that. So let's go top of our application. Let's create an use state of const form data set form data equals to use state of an object. So now the initial value which we are gonna give is this. So first of all, we go at the top, we'll create an const initial form data. So it's initial form data, so it's basically gonna be the initial value. So in initially it's gonna be an object. So inside of this object, it gonna has a property of first name, which is gonna be initially it's gonna be an empty string. Then it's gonna have a last name. It is also gonna be an empty string. Then it will have an email, then and password. Okay, password. Okay, this thing is nice. Password. Then we're gonna have confirm password. Yeah, so this is what all we are gonna have inside of there. So now let's set this initial let's set it over here. So if you're getting confused, I created another concept there. I just created to make things more simpler. Another way I can do is I can just cut there, and instead of this I can write this things here and wrap it inside of a curly brace. That basically means it is an object. So both the things are same. In our case, we just will use an const, because in case if we have to set a value everything to empty, so just we can call this thing here. We can just say set form data to the initial form data, right? So it's work. So it basically, it's now we know, so it's basically setting this form data. So another way to do is we can have a like 6 around 1 2 3 4 5. We can have 5 use states, but I thought let's do it this way. You can do that way also if that makes sense for you, but there's not at all any difference there. So the next thing is, first of all, for the first name, it's gonna have a value of form data. Form data dot first name, right? Form data dot first name. Now we want to set our value. So on change, so we'll just say here set form data to, now you have to set this value like I have already told. So we can just say here form data first name, right? We can say here to e dot target dot value. You cannot do that. The reason why you cannot do is because, as you can see, we have an object here, so like it has these kind of a value. So to do that, we have to set that first name inside of this string, right? So this won't set the value to inside of this thing. So what we so basically what we want to happen is like we want to keep whatever the rest of the values, we want it to be as it is. We don't want to change our values. The only value we want to change is our first name. Rest of the things are gonna be the same, right? So to do that, what we say is let's console log his data. Let's see if we do that, what does happen. So let's console log. So console log form data. So I'll make you explain this more better. So if I say this, let's open our inspector. So inside of console, as you can see, if I refresh and open back our console again and go to console, so okay, so we don't see this because we have to go to create account. If you go to create account, as you can see, initially we have an this thing. Initially we have this an object, but as soon as I type anything inside of this, it will change to an empty string, right? It changed that. So what we want to happen, what we want it to do is it has to set this value to the first, it has to set all this string to our first name, right? Not to not like, and there's other things it has to be has to remain same. So to do that, what we, so there's something like called spread operator. So if we go to the here, if we say here, so in there, first of all, we will say inside of an object, sorry for this, yeah, so here we're gonna say dot 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 form data. So it basically means set on whenever the value changes, automatically set that form data, like whatever the previous value of the form data is, spread everything, spread every whole of that value inside of this. And now in here you write the, for example, you wanna change our first name, so you're gonna say first name e dot target dot value. So what does this means is it will first of all spread that form data, but it will change that first name to our e dot target dot value. So our JavaScript automatically understand what to do. I think it is an ES6 function, ES6 or 7 feature, I think so. It's a feature, it is not, it was not initially even with pure JavaScript, but yeah, it's, I think it's, so it's I think it's feature of ES6 or ES7 anyways. So let's see if that works. So let's go to let's go back to our application. So if I type anything here, so for example, this is our current value. So now let's check what do we have. As you can see, okay, so we have some kind of an error. Let's see, let's refresh once. Like it's not working properly. Okay, so initially we have this date, okay, we have this kind of data, no issues with that. So now let's set our data first name. Okay, let me bring up my application. As you can see, it is setting the value automatically to the first name. So we are going to do same thing with our the different objects, different inputs, and then we are good to go to set our values also. I hope you understand how do we do this. If you have still understand, you can also DM me on Instagram, or you can, my link would be available in the description box to my Instagram, or also you can just type any, just write any of your doubts in this comment section. I'll definitely help you with that. So now let's work on the logic now. So first of all, to signing up is also as easy as we do, as easy it is in the with the sign in. So like sign up is also easy like sign in. So first of all, you create a function const create account equals to an arrow function, and then inside of it will accept an event, and then it's gonna say e dot prevent default. Then here, first of all, whenever the user clicks, as usual, we want to set our loading to true. Do we have loading? Yeah, we want to set our loading to true. And then first of all, okay, so now the thing here we want is key, first of all, we also want to set, okay, we can do okay, let's do the errors later. I thought of error doing okay, so we just say auth, so dot to just, it's like creating account, or dot create user with email and password. Then again it accepts 2 parameters which like earlier, so it's gonna say form data dot email and form data dot password. Both are the same thing. Now let's save that, and now let's see, are we able to sign up? So for now we can just type this password here. Yeah, we can just type password here. This doesn't matter because we are not basically checking all these values. So let's create, and now it won't, obviously nothing would happen. Now let's refresh here. Now we should see, okay, we don't see, okay, so the reason the account is not created because we wanna add an on click also there. So inside of our button here, we'll add an on click to create account. Now let's check if that works. So go back to the application, click on create, set loading, okay, fine. Now let's go back, refresh. Okay, we don't see anything. Let's refresh it properly. Okay, we don't see anything. Let's again okay, let's create account, show password, create, refresh. Okay, we don't have anything. Let's see what is the error in our inspector. It says email invalid, the email address is badly formatted. Okay, the reason is because we still did not updated our values inside of our remaining inputs, right? We have to also update our value for our remaining inputs. So we'll here we're gonna say instead of first name it has to be last name, right? One second. Yeah, so here we'll this is also a text field, right? Here we're gonna say our email, and then here we're gonna say our password. So here it's gonna be our password. Then for this input we are gonna have a confirm password. So confirm password. And another thing guys, let's add and disable also, because in case for example if user, okay, let's just check with this once. Let's go back to the application, let's have a nice refresh, let's click on create account, and let's click on show password and let's create, and now let's refresh here. As you can see we got this even, that means now this works. So the next thing we need to do is now let's make this thing properly functioning, like rendering all those errors, so the basic core functionality is working. Now we need to make it more better for us. So the other thing we're going to do is first of all here let's check if there is an let's check if the password and confirm password meet both matches, right? So if confirm password and password matches, then it's we are gonna we are gonna work through all of this, and in case if it does not matter, so we'll just show an error. So the thing we are gonna do is we will say here first of all we will set the loading to true as usual. So here we're gonna say const error equals to, now we are gonna check form data dot password and triple is equals to form data dot confirm password. So if both of those matches, then it's gonna return true, or if that does not match, it's gonna return a false. So it's like basically it's a boolean. So here it's an error. So if there's an error, basically if both of those does not matches, if the value is true, that if the value is false, not equals to means if the error is not true, basically it's if the error is false. Then if the error is false, then what you want is to say set, okay, we'll create another state. We're gonna say const password error equals to use state of what we did in our previous thing. Okay, so same thing, right? State of false and message. So here if it is true, then we are gonna set our, okay, one second, and this is a bit wrong, should be set password error here. Yeah, set password error. Then here we're gonna say set password error to state of true, and then message of we can have a message passwords do not match. And then we are gonna set our form data to rest of the form data, and then I'll like we're gonna spread our form data, but instead of that we're gonna change our confirm password. So we'll set confirm password to an empty string, and rest of the data is gonna remain the same. Then here we are gonna set our loading to false, and then we are gonna get outside of this function. Basically we're gonna return, like we will like exit this function, or if it is not, like in case if there is no, like if both the password match, then we are gonna set our password error to state of false, and also a message of an empty string, right? So here now let's also render that password error. Let's render a password error. So to do that, one second, yeah, we'll go to our text field of password. Yeah, here we are gonna say on this we are gonna say error equals to password error, basically if it's true or a false, and then inside of this there's a p tag. So here also we are gonna have the same thing here, error of, basically it will give an true or a false state, like it's a red color, and then all the message we're gonna have, it's gonna be over here. Then now it depends, so now this thing also depends. So if a password error dot message exists, if basically if it is there, then we are gonna display our, one second, we are gonna display our password error dot message, and if that is not if that is not in case, then we are gonna have this thing here, and we can remove this curly braces over here. Yeah, okay, so we have some error. I think this should be in one line. Yeah, so that's fine now. I don't know why this okay, anyways, so here let's go back. So let's have a refresh. So let's click on create account. You see, like it's basically like kind of it's already giving you this red color line, because the reason for that is because here we have to say password error dot state, because password error already has some value, right? So here we have to say password error dot state, and yeah, here also password error dot state. So now let's check how does that looks now. So okay, initially we have this. If I type anything here also, if as you can see both are not same. If I click on create, as you can see it says it gives an error, but says password do not match, which is actually in just an normal text color. So if we go back to our original application, click on, just add this thing, and if we click on create, as you can see it gets in red color. So we'll also give it an, we'll also use some JSX for a string for our class name. So what you're gonna say again, I think yeah, we have did this already, so I don't have to explain once more. The string concatenation. So here's then here, if our password error is true, if password error dot state is true, if password error dot state is true, then we are gonna add an class name of sign in underscore error. Now we'll style that. So let's go to our styles.css, and then we can give it anywhere. So here we'll just give a color of hashtag df3a64. It's not 6764 d. Okay, so why is not we getting in color? Okay, it has to be an hashtag over here. So now it's kind of it will give you in red color. As you can see, both of these color matches. So we are now one step ahead. Now we have done one step more. Then another thing, now let's work on rest of the things now. yeah, we can work on our rest of the things. So let's go back here, let's go to a sign up. So let's go to the top and let's work on a logic. So here, as you know, it returns an like the way logged in work, it will also return and promise. So for this promise, sorry guys, so this promise basically it's again an arrow function. So an empty arrow function. Then here now if this exists, so basically we also want to have our first name and a last name, right? So basically like when we are logged in, so we want also our this Firebase to know what is the name of our current user, right? So to do that, the way Firebase works, it's like the way Firebase it's work. So we have to update the basically you have to update the name of the user. So what we'll do is we'll go here, then here we'll say auth dot current user, then it has got some this object, and then if I open a suggestion, okay, I'm not able to open suggestion for some reason. Anyways, I'm gonna say dot update profile. Okay, sorry, yeah, so okay, I did something, yeah, here auth dot current user, then here I'm gonna say dot update profile, that update profile, then it's gonna have an object. So as you can see, it gives him suggestion of user dot update profile, photo URL and a display name. So in our case, we are gonna photo URL is basically the profile pic, and our display name is gonna be the name which we add. So in this case, you're gonna say display name. To be of now, we'll have a string concatenation for our JNQ, like for a first name and a last name. So we're gonna say dollar form data dot first name, and then outside of this, then we are gonna have another one in which we are gonna say form data dot last name, right? This thing is nice, this extension. Okay, anyway, so it works. Now it is also gonna return in dot then function. Basically now after this dot then, basically everything is successful, right? So now if this thing is successful, then we are gonna set our loading to false. Basically the account for user has been successfully created. So let's save that. So now let's also add an option to check whether an error is there or not. So outside of this, we are gonna say dot catch dot catch error. Once again, the dot catch error, then an arrow function. Then here, as we did earlier, now it's gonna have a bunch of errors which we can get. The errors could be of two types. One could be the email is already being used, like someone else is already using email. Then other one can be invalid email, like the email address is not properly formatted. Then other one could be a weak password, like the password is only 6 characters or that kind of a thing. So what we'll do is we'll say if error dot code is triple equals to, I'll just copy this just because we don't misspell anything. So here we're gonna say auth / email already in use. Then here we're gonna say we are gonna also create an email error the same way we did the pass error. Just we're gonna change our name, email error. Okay, so remove this, yeah, that's fine, I think so. Yeah, so here we are gonna set our email error to, okay, yeah, so here we also need our password error. So here we are gonna set, I'll just copy this and paste it also up there, and here also we need to set our email and password error to an empty, right? Dot then here also we need to do that. So here we are gonna set it to true, and the message has to be email is already in use, right? Then here we are gonna have an we are also gonna set our loading to false, and then we are gonna set our form data to be dot 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 form data, but an email to be an empty string, right? Sometimes it's very annoying for user, like if he by mistake enters and wrong email or pass email, then the whole form data gets reset and you have to type everything. So I just thought of only resetting our email instead of everything, right? So here we can just, or also you don't need this also, you can keep this, or you can, or you don't, if you don't wish to, you can, it does not matter, sir, it does not matter, right? So here now another now I'll just copy another states which another possible things, because it's no use of writing again, right? So I'll just copy this here, error. So instead of pass error, where's a pass, it has to be password error. So I'll say pass error here also. I go through this, is basically the same thing. If auth is /invalid email, then it will say email address is not properly formatted and password should be, if it is weak password, then password should be at least 6 characters, and the same thing, basically it's the same thing, nothing much. So now I think we are almost done with creating a sign up component even. So what we can do is okay, it's our email error, right? So for our email error, so for our email error, we'll go to our email, one second, set form data. So here, okay, where's our email form data, first name, last name, here. So here first of all we're gonna have an is our helper text. So here we are gonna have an error of, one second, let me check, error of email error dot state, and then helper text. Now again it depends. So here we are gonna say if email, okay, so one second, control plus, if email error dot message, not state, dot message, if it is true, then we are gonna just render our email error dot message, or else we are gonna render our this string. Let's save that should work now. So now let's create an account, let's name it Pulkit Gupta. Email we can keep, okay, let's have an error for now. So let's have wrong incorrect password do not match, so let's have same passwords. So this email also already exists. Now we should have this email with error with this. So as you can see, it says email is already in use. So we can say here something else, we can say just Pulkit. If we say Pulkit here, and now I think now everything, now we should be able to one more account should be created. Let's click on create. So as you can see, everything we don't get any error. So now here we should say pulkit@gmail.com. That's good, guys. So now we are also done with this thing. The next thing we are gonna do is okay, for example, if the user hasn't typed email or a last name or an email, then still user is able to click this, so it might lead to, so what we can do is we can add a disabled option here. So basically, even first name, if any of this data does not have any value, then the user should not be able to create this. For example, it has got this kind of effect, right? So the user is not able to create this. If I type anything here, now he can click on that. So let's work on that. So here first of all we'll go back to our application. We are gonna create another const. So it's gonna say disable, it's gonna say button disabled. So now it will basically now check the value. So if our form data dot email, if there's no value in form data dot email, then it's gonna be true. Or in case if there's no value inside of our form data dot password, then it will be true. Or if there's no value in our form data dot name, then it's gonna be true. Then our last name, then it's gonna be true. Then form data dot email password and form data dot confirm password, it's gonna be true. So let me check form data email. What are the values we have? Okay, it has first name here 12345, first name, it's not name. So here first name. So basically what that means is ki if any of these value, either form data dot email or any of these value is false, so this will be true. This double sign thing means ki, or basically if this is not true, just it will just go through all of these 4 conditions, and if any of this value is true or false, it will just if any of this value is false, then the whole of this thing will change, the whole of this variable cons will change to boolean, to false, or if it is, or if the user has written every value, then it will change to this thing true there. So here we can go to our button, then here we can give an material accepts an event of disabled. So disabled of this button disabled, so if it's true, it's gonna get a disabled kind of a look, and or else false. So let's go back, and as you can see, we cannot click on this. I'm clicking on this, and now if as soon as I type something here, as you can see, if all of our data is filled, then the user can create it. So let's check if this is empty. Okay, user cannot create this. If this is empty, user cannot create this. This is empty, then also user cannot create this. If this is empty, user cannot create this. If this is empty, user cannot create this. So basically this works, right? So the next thing we can do is we'll check if our user exists or if the user is not there, right? So this is so after this we'll work on our main application, then we'll be done with the sign in and sign up component, right? So let's start.